usually pretty cheap because I've gone to. We're live now, so you want to scoot in? Bring it in, Chief. Bring it in. So, comedy club would be a fun idea because I've only been to one before in my life, and that was back in San Francisco. And it was just fun. It was like it was ridiculous. It was like some people were really good. There was this one dude who had autism, who was just so funny. Like he kind of just stood on stage, and it was just like he was just sitting here like this, and you couldn't tell if he was being funny or being serious. And I think he played it off perfectly. Like he was like, dude, I'm already awkward. Let's turn it into comedy. So it was just like, I know I'm strange, so I'm going to see what happens when I add a joke to whatever this. And dude, he was just so funny. But then I had my high school friends who went on stage, and they were the ones who invited me. You know, they were like, hey, you know what, don't even worry about the cost. Come out and see us, whatever. So I remember, I think one of us had to pay something, but whatever. I went with a girlfriend. It was a great date. It was a really good date. And it was just, they were not very good. I'll say that. And they've told me since then that comedy is one of those things, like, you might in part sit back and be like, you know, this could be fun to do. But is that who you are? Is that what you, because comedy really is born out of pain.
Yeah, that's true.
And these friends of mine are like, okay, Anthony, going to do stand-up. Because I told them, I was like, I really want to just try it. Just to say I tried it. But they were like, okay, but is that what you really want to do? And it's like, okay, when you really understand the culture behind a stand-up comedian versus, are you, like, I like to entertain people. But the culture behind stand-up comedy is like, do you want to be on the road all day and not make any money, probably get in a bunch of drugs? I mean,
you could make money, but you wouldn't.
I'm not saying, you know, exactly. I'm not saying you can't be, you know, it can't go your way. You know, there's plenty of people that have become incredibly successful and who haven't gone into the darker side of comedy or that culture. But
I mean, I've even heard people who, like, in their comedy, sometimes they'll just talk about, like, oh, well, the first time I smoked weed, we did this. You know.
I think we got one of our. I got another message, and I couldn't figure out. I was live streaming earlier, New World, the game that I was playing, and someone messaged me, and I wasn't sure what it was for because I was playing my game while live streaming. I was like, is someone messaging me for my live stream, or are they? What's going on? Because here's all it says, and there's no name, there's no nothing. Don't tell me I got rid of it. Oh no, it was a message. Yeah, I think I got rid of it because at first I was like kind of freaked out by it. But it was just a message from someone saying like, it is ridiculous to think. Well, first of all, I wanted to ask, can you try this for me? I think it's dying. It's over a week old, so it's like, cool, man. If it's dying, whatever. You know, no worries.
A little bit, yeah. My pink lemonade one died pretty quick.
Yeah, well, it's not that it was quick. It lasted plenty. It's just like, I think it's... But anyway, someone messaged me randomly, and it was like this belligerent, like, no name, no context. It said, look, man, drugs are illegal, but you really think that's going to stop people? Like, he said, do you... Because everything seems so personal, but I think they're saying in general... Like, do you know anyone who has a drug of choice? And I'm thinking, okay, is he asking if, like, I'm trying to sell someone drugs? Like, I mean, this like me? I'm like, sure, I know plenty. Everyone has a drug of choice, whether it's TV, porn, caffeine, nicotine, whatever.
Right.
But it's like, get in here, dude. Come in. Look at right there. That's you. Come in, yeah. I don't know. So someone just messaged and they're like, everyone's got a drug of choice. Like, it doesn't matter if it's illegal. They'll find a way to go and use. Right. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, I agree. But this person just kept going in the text, and they're like, so, you know, it took a congregational, like, amendment to the law, like, I don't know, to make alcohol illegal, and look what that did, and yada yada. So I'll never stand for it. And that was it. Yeah. I was like, okay, what? So I was like, sure, I agree with him, but I have this person, but I have no idea what they're talking about. But then I realized they probably wanted me to say that on the podcast. Like, someone out there just is like, look, And they're right. Like, that little comment, like, that was very belligerent.
Was kind of weird.
You're right. You can't change someone. By the way, welcome to Thought Bubble Podcast with us. I keep looking over there because of my other monitor, but really I should be looking right there because you can see us now. I was going to put the email address up and everything. We're evolving. Now we have video. So,
okay, right, yeah. I was gonna say about the point that you mentioned about drugs and alcohol. It's really weird how in society, like, some things were legal, like they were just legal, and then some things just became illegal because of certain factors. But really, what's surprising was for a lot of people, I guess back in the day, there was a lot of angry drunk men because they were the people who would mostly drink. And so they ruined it technically for everybody else because the government's like, oh, well, now we got men becoming drunk and being violent and beating their, woman or whatever they're doing to them or whatever.
Curious where you're going with this. I accidentally just sent you the podcast.
That was the
no, I didn't.
That was the main driver toward the prohibition.
Oh.
Because a lot of women were, standing up, which is, good. But, they were doing it in a way to where really they were only referencing one real portion of people who did that. And so that's why they made it illegal and they had the prohibition simply because violent men were getting drunk, or maybe they weren't violent and they drank and they became violent.
It's so,
however you might interpret that, but because of that was the main driver behind prohibition. And so it's like
some women had a big impact on okay. But
also, like, if let's say you take weed for example, weed was legal long time ago. Like,
I mean, it's not that it was legal, it's the fact that it was ridiculous to consider it illegal.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was when it was.
But
like,
then what happened was
there's
been some theories behind it, but Mexicans were bringing it in to the United States a very long time ago. They were like our only.
Dude, I'm from California. I mean, a lot of the weed that I've smoked is from.
And so, since our government was more racist during those times, they're
still,
like, well, how are we going to affect the Mexicans? All right, well, let's make weed illegal. And then a bunch of Mexicans and people of color ended up getting arrested, and that's why they mainly made it illegal back then.
So, first of all, I just want to cover real quick, just when you were saying prohibition and women, you remember the whole, like, again, you don't even hear this word anymore, the word hysterical. You don't even hear that because of how sexist it really is.
Yeah.
It's like all these things were targeted at, we need to control our woman.
Right.
So you're being hysterical. Don't worry, it's a woman thing.
You're being hysterical.
You're being hysterical. Relax. Hysteria, hysterectomy. Right. It's all a female oriented. It's like, you're just crazy because you're a woman. And so I didn't know that about prohibition. I didn't know women. It was like, oh, you know what? This one, it's okay for men to get fucked up and beat their woman. But if you speak your mind, woman, is that kind of what it was? Like,
what I'm saying is, as a society, yes, we reacted in that way because women were mainly trying to, prevent this issue, and we wanted to help them.
Yeah,
but then when we did that, we took some. I mean, alcohol. I guess what happened, what made it legal again, was the simple fact that when they took it away, people were still getting it. People had secret, stashes of it. They'd have speakeasies.
And that's what that person was saying. Like, really, that's the point. Is you can't stop someone by saying no. The more you say no,
the more they're going to want to do it.
Typically, the more some's going to be like, well, why? Why can't I? And then let me find out.
And then if you don't tell them.
And see, the curiosity. I've tried. I've tried just about.
Well, it's
anything.
It's kind of the same thing with
But look how I'm not still using.
So you know that DARE program.
Yeah, totally.
You had it too.
Yep. Yeah. Did you have the when kids were just pulled out of class in the morning, like, and all of a sudden
no, it was like
they were dead from car accidents, and you had this little play at the end of the day.
No. Well, maybe
when
it was like
younger. These kids died because your friend drank, and here's this.
So.
They had like a totally totaled car, and these kids were in there all fucked up and bloody.
We had like presentations and nothing.
Okay, like that. Dude.
I remember when I was younger though, we had like an actual cop walk in and like have he did the presentation, but like they didn't. I feel like if they gave more detail and like actually like said, oh hey, this does this to you, you know, to try to make it interesting and then explain why it's bad, more kids would be like, oh hey.
Yeah, the DARE program,
right?
Because it succeeded totally. Like
right,
it did make it.
What I'm saying is there was still a vast majority of kids.
Thought Bubble podcast with us on YouTube.
There was still a vast majority of.
Sorry, I'm trying to learn how to. So recently I've decided fuck using Snapchat as social media.
Yeah.
This is no longer social. Snapchat for me. It is no longer friendship and shit like that. You don't even use Snapchat.
Yeah. No, I use it. Just a text.
Exactly.
Just a
so
text. Yeah,
what I'm experimenting with is, Snapchat says, oh, we suggest you add all these people. I have no idea who all these people are.
Yeah,
so
you'll get random people.
I was like, fine,
Yep.
sure. You know what? I was like, let's see where this rabbit hole goes.
Right.
I just added, dude. I think I added over 90 people in about 15 minutes.
Oh, Jesus.
And all these people are messaging me. How do I know you? Oh, you look familiar. Oh, who the fuck are you? It's just like, and I'm like, no, you don't know me. You're absolutely right. You do not know me. This is just me testing something out. And then immediately I get this. They're doing the same thing.
Right.
Someone's sending me pictures of him watching his dog watch him play Stray. Have you ever? Stray's this game where you play as a cat. You're a stray cat.
Okay.
And his dog is watching him play this game. And the dog's so into watching Stray that when the cat turns around and walks into the camera, the dog just freaks out, barks, and runs. And this dude just sent this to me, but it's like, that's the point. He doesn't know me.
Right.
Let's just all send each other shit. So I just figured, you know what? Thought Bubble podcast with us. That's just another way I'm going to promote it. Anyway, I'm sorry.
So I mean, it's interesting how things were legal and very well available to people. And then, all because of something, they became illegal, and then no longer looked at, no longer studied per se. And then, now we are today, and it's like, well, weed was illegal, alcohol was illegal. Well, alcohol is legal, but it kills way more people than weed does. And then,
we could talk about that forever, yeah.
But, and then...
I'm a perfect example of what alcohol can do.
But then also, you have those other drugs that are more serious, like, heroin, meth. And,
things that, yeah.
And like coke and stuff.
And they're cheap.
Yeah.
They're cheap.
They're very cheap.
They say meth is like the cheapest it's been in a long time. Like, I don't know a lot about it because I've only tried it once in my life, and I don't regret it. Like, it was a very funny story. I love this story. I got a great haircut.
I'll tell you this much. Surprisingly...
Never gonna do it again?
It
was really boring, too.
I met a meth head that was at our college, and I guess she was a nurse, but she was a meth head and a coke addict, I guess, too. And one of my friends got involved with her, and I was just like, dude, I really don't think this is the right time for you to be, socializing with this person.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't like she was a bad person. It was just like I could tell that.
See, now you get to stare. Look at this here. No, that's what they see right now.
But I realized, she has the potential to use this person because she's probably gonna want money. She's probably gonna,
Totally, and it's scary when you see, especially if you meet someone who's like me. When you're an addict, it's like, okay. Clearly, I'm doing great, with the alcohol, but what have I done instead of that? I've increased my... That's yours, I'm sorry. I've increased... Almost same color. I've increased my vape usage totally. My cigarettes have gone down, but I noticed my... I always need to have a drink, so I'm drinking a lot more water, which isn't bad. There always needs to be something in my hand. Mm-hmm. So, as an addict, it's like you're replacing one thing for another.
Well, actually, I'll tell you this much. When I stopped, basically when Michael stopped coming over here and just me changing, as an overall person, I only smoke at night just to sleep, just so my back stops hurting. So I can sleep. But it's like most of the day I'm just like, I really don't need it. I really don't need to smoke it.
Well, yeah, and if you surround yourself with people who use it so recreationally, where it's
now if
let's
I
all
go,
smoke, fuck it, let's get going,
now,
let's do it.
If I'm out recreationally, I'd rather smoke than drink. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I'm with it. Oh, that's right, we are going out tonight.
Right.
Dude, I'm still I'm scared. We'll talk about that.
What I'm saying is that's fun recreationally, but then again, I try not to go out like that a lot, and because then it offers you a chance or an excuse to do it, and it's like I mainly only need it for this purpose.
Exactly. Well, and so one thing,
and so it's kind of like wiring your brain to where you can kind of just prevent addiction or prevent that habit.
Going to a bad
a bad behavior. So
this has saved my ass because this is the Delta 8. This is the hemp, the legal version of whatever marijuana. Right. Delta 8. I can't call it weed. It's not weed, but it's concentrated fucking shit.
Right.
But when I smoke it, just like when I was smoking weed, anytime I smoke weed, for whatever reason, however my brain works, whether it be ADHD or who gives a shit why, weed makes me whenever because I was addicted to cigarettes. I always have them still, even though I only had to buy 2 packs this week because
really?
I'm not even.
What I noticed is,
I was gonna say real quick. I was gonna say it. When I smoke weed, there is a little bit of paranoia that does happen. That's normal, but my paranoia goes straight to, why the hell are you smoking cigarettes? Why are you drinking? Why are you hurting yourself? And it freaks me out that I'm doing it because I think of all the people that have died. Or I think about my personal experiences, and so weed. It's not only you mentioned pain. For you, it's pain relief.
Yeah.
For me, it's focus on reality. It is a focus on reality. All of a sudden, it's dude, you don't need all this other shit. You working right now? Cool. Focus on work. You doing your podcast right now? Focus on podcast. You don't need to be drinking to smoking. Right now, I'd love to have No, actually, that's the thing. I don't want anything right now.
Yeah.
I do want. I'm gonna hit this though.
But what I was gonna say was, I've noticed that even with these.
I'm gonna turn that light off behind you because it's like you got God rays, man. Yeah. You're God right now. Yeah, you are the. By the way,
yeah, I am the.
This
producer.
is the promoting producer, who will be promoted to promoting producer. We had another title for you.
It was a promoter, producer.
I don't know. There was a pot. I'm gonna turn that light off because basically God's saying hello the whole time.
Right.
So, yeah.
My spotlight.
Yeah. You're too pretty to be seen on camera. That's what my bathroom is telling you.
Okay, so
hey, I got the bathroom. I'm ready to go out. Right, I got the orange, the nice. It gotta be warm. It's too cold to just dress up nice. You actually have to have layers. I got 3 layers. Obviously the Batman pants are. We gotta have the Batman pants.
I've got a nice pair of pants that I'll put on.
Oh no! And stand up, show, dude. Right now, really, this is how we do podcasts PGs. Oh, you get your too strong.
I'm too short. There
you go. There's a little belly. Now it's the producer exposed.
Oh no.
Oh no.
But,
or yes.
So I'm putting on.
He is single.
I'm gonna have a pair of tan pants on.
Oh no, you won't. Yeah. I always hated khaki. I don't know what it is.
Okay, so
I think it's because as a child, my dad always wanted.
See my jeans. I don't know where they went. I think I stopped wearing jeans after a while, and I hate wearing jeans.
I don't like the tightness, but I love the look.
Yeah. So.
Because then if it gets white, you're done.
Right. I have these tan pants where I just put them on, but then I'm gonna have a gray shirt on, and then just have my blue sweatshirt that's actually pretty warm and nice. But I try to look decent. But it's I can tell I might need to go shopping once I move out.
Oh, dude. So that's one thing that you and I can do that. No, you and I can do that because one thing I've noticed is every time I go into my closet, I'm like, what happened to that shirt? And I'm like, fuck, that's right. It had blood stains on it from when I did this and that. And then I think I told you about that one. It was a lime green shirt. It was an awesome shirt. It looked good on me. And it was it had blood stains on the back of it because I think I fell when I was whatever. I don't know.
Right.
Rolling around. Remember when I said Buddy died and I had a tribute to him? I just gave him a shrine. And
right.
Well, and so when we walked back, we went through a golf course. I actually have a video of it on my phone.
So,
But I rolled down a hill and I got cut all over the place. There goes that
so
shirt.
what I've noticed with
No, it was a blue shirt. Sorry,
with
not a green shirt.
nicotine especially, they say, oh well, it's highly addictive. Well, yes, but there's been times where I don't even have this, and really the only time I'm like I need some is literally when my back starts hurting.
So, I will say this.
Because when I'll put it to you this way, when you can actually feel the pain again, it does come back stronger, but also sometimes it can hurt.
See, I don't know any
all
of this
day
because
long.
weed doesn't
Like-
do that. Or sorry, oh, you're talking nicotine?
Yeah, I'm talking about nicotine. So like,
Oh,
so
it gives you pain
No.
therapy.
yeah. So with both, I use one at night because it knocks me out, and one during the day because this is a stimulant. It helps me with work, all that stuff.
Yeah, nicotine
But
is a stimulant.
it mainly keeps my back pain down because it does.
See, Batman pants are the best. You gotta. I'm not gonna wear them to wear whatever we go do, but
Right.
it's pajama pants with no pockets. I mean, come on, no pockets.
So,
Now, if I had the PJs
morning-
with pockets,
So morning stuff. It's just it helps me through the day, and then I have my nighttime stuff.
see, you're lucky. Nicotine actually, okay, I like it, and it doesn't seem to have a negative impact on me. But I'll never forget the first time I had a cigarette. I was 18. I was a freshman in college. So it was Anthony. His name is Anthony. That actually, Anthony's his middle name, but that's what he went by. He said, "Do you want to try it?" And I was like, "Sure, fuck it, let's try it." So I took a cigarette and I lit it. You nailed it like this. Don't.
Yeah, that's a lot of smoke. Even I wouldn't do that smoking a cigarette.
I didn't know.
Was that your first ever cigarette?
That was my first ever.
Oh, okay.
I did that.
Yeah.
And he started laughing at me. Ugh. And he's like, no. You gotta say there's a technique. There's a
Right.
method to smoking a cigarette. Like you gotta kind of like suck it into your mouth, and then, and it was don't smoke cigarettes.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah.
I'm so glad I'm almost over it. But I never experienced anything really superb like you are from nicotine. To me, I think I just got hooked on nicotine.
See, for me, it was in college. That's when I found out I was diabetic, and that's when I found out I started having.
By the way,
really,
Seth, real quick, Seth, if you have anyone you can plug this podcast to, just out of boredom, just be like, yo, come have fun. Like, go ahead and send this to everyone.
So I had a lot of. Right in college. College was basically when my body was like, here's what else is wrong with you. Basically, that's what it was.
Gotcha.
So after
All right.
finding out I'm diabetic, and then I had really bad back pain to the point to where
Get
literally,
you a little wine,
I remember the day
you sexy beast.
the day it started. So like when it hurt real bad, I was just sitting at a table with some friends. We're hanging out.
Oh, the diabetes. Yeah. Okay.
No, not the back pain.
Oh.
And
okay.
so I felt
Okay.
this like knot in the bottom of like the, I guess right here, like in the lower lumbar.
Middle, lower, yeah.
Where it always hurts. I felt this like
Where it always
little,
hurts. That makes sense.
where I felt this little like just
My back hurts where it hurts.
Like
Sorry,
not-
sir. You're right. You're right.
not sharp,
What was I thinking?
not sharp pain, but like like a dull but hard pain that was just hurt. And so then it traveled up my back, and then my friend's like, "Here, let me take a look at you." And so I laid down on the concrete of all places, and he looks at my back and he goes, "Yeah, dude, your spine is fucked up. Your spine." He's like,
Your spine is fucked up.
You're fine. You're
fine.
You're-
You're fine though. Yeah, your spine is fucked up, but you're fine.
But he's like,
I'm trying to add our title, by the way, while
Okay.
we're working here.
So
I'm just fucking around with this.
He offers to crack my back. I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" I'm
Like another kid does?
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
he goes, "All right, breathe in, breathe out," and then he goes, and I'm like,
Did he know what he was doing when he was doing
"Yeah, he knew
Okay,
because
all
the
right,
pain
all
went
right.
away
Okay.
immediately."
I had a friend who did that to me. It always scared me when
Yeah.
he did it because there was one
Right,
feeler.
because you don't know if
They
that-
aren't. Well, yeah, and
Right.
one time it hurt, but every other time it was like, whoa.
So
Okay.
I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so much
'Cause
better."
my back doesn't crack.
And so it didn't hurt for
Your spine is gone, but you're fine. Exactly.
it didn't hurt for a while, and like maybe for a day, and then it started coming back again, and at the cracking, it eventually wears out because, you get used to that feeling and it doesn't really.
So you had to get used to the feeling.
So what
is that why you just always? Because by the way, this guy just walks around all day. You just hear. First of all, at first when it happened, and it just still keeps happening, and my brain still goes to furniture, or farts. But he'll stand up or move, and he'll go. You'll hear a noise, and it's usually like a pop, and he goes, and I'm thinking at first, farts. And then I was like, all right, what's wrong with my chair? No, this is your chair, but like when you were sitting in my chair, what's wrong with it? And you just kept saying, oh, no, that was my back. Oh, that was my knee. Oh, that was my...
Yeah.
But the noise is so profound.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. I don't want to.
That's why it hurts. Like, I don't know, but it's just like, so...
See, I just want to post... How do I do...
In college, once my back started really hurting, I tried going to a chiropractor, but that didn't work out.
Can I try it? Or which one is this? This is the...
Oh,
is this?
Because,
Yeah, that's the other one.
The times that I could meet this person to crack my back was like when I had class or when I was supposed to be doing something.
That's good. That has mango. I hate mango in vapes, but that's good.
Yeah.
This is a great... Hey, by the way, Instabar, if you vape or if you want to quit smoking, lasts forever. Well, like, for me, I'm a heavy smoker. This lasts about a little over a week.
About 2 weeks to a month.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. That's a big different time frame. I mean, that means you're really just like, I smoke, whatever. You keep talking. I'm still trying to figure out just simply how to put Thought Bubble Podcast with us right there. Yeah.
So, hold on, where was I?
High school, back cracked.
No, it was college. Okay, yeah. So college after the back crack hack.
Back crack hack?
The back
your
crack
spine's gone, but you're fine, and your back crack hack?
After the back crack happened, then I tried going to a chiropractor, and that didn't really work out because the times that I was supposed to be going to the chiropractor, I was supposed to be going to class. Or, I timed it to where I was like, okay, I could make it in time because I'd get there, they crack my back, I'll be back before class. Well,
dude, I love the rhymes you're doing. I mean, this whole story, I feel like you're rapping to me right now. The back crack, the hack, the back tap, the back tap, the back, like you're Eminem right now. Like, all right.
So after, I realized that, I was like, well, I have to...
I think I just figured this out, but yeah, keep going.
I have to not go to the chiropractor because it's interfering with my school, so...
Oh, like you didn't have time.
Right, yeah. So I was like, well, fuck, what else can I do? So then they're like, you use ice and heat and all this crap, and I'm like, oh, I've tried it. It helps a little bit, but really...
Ice and heat, yeah, I know what you're
eventually it gets to the point to where you're like, okay, I need something else. Like, I could barely move in my bed.
They can see that. I believe they can see this. Hey, we can turn sideways if we... Oh!
Oh, there we go.
Ah! Make it look all pretty.
There'd be some mornings I'd wake up and I can't move from my bed because I'm either in pain or my blood sugar's low.
I'm on pain. Yeah. He's not kidding.
It was really bad back then, and so
I think people don't. We were talking about this when you're building that. Did we talk about this on the last podcast? I'm trying to Okay, there we go. I think we talked about this on the last podcast when we were working on the table or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the podcasts, and I didn't take. I was just like, okay, yeah, it was one of the. Yeah, I thought you were being lazy, and you were like, you didn't say anything, and you were just like, I'm just used to people like not taking it seriously, so I don't respond to it. But like, I was like, fuck, dude, this is clearly real. That is a response from someone who's like so used to already dealing with it. He's like, I don't want to hear it. You can believe whatever you want. I'm in pain.
There's been times where I'll even tell my mom, she'll be like, hey, can you get a bag of dog food?
You're going to sleep over at her friends, man.
She'll go.
Well, tell your friends to watch this.
Yeah, so an example.
Call us.
An example of that is I'll be downstairs.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. Yeah, I accidentally kicked the mic.
And so my mom will be like, can you get this bag of dog food out? Well, it's 50 pounds. I can lift it. But at the same time, I go, okay, I'll just go ahead and do it because if I tell her, no, my back hurts or
oh yeah, she'd think you're full of shit.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And that's kind of no offense. Like, that's what I was saying. I was like, all right, come on, man. Right. Even up to this point, like, after I've seen your life change, after all the good shit, when we're working on the table, I still, like, my brain immediately just went to...
I wanted to help you, but
Yeah.
all the positions we had to
The
get
way-
to.
It's a little Kama Sutra kind of shit, you know what I mean? Like a little yoga, you know.
To put the table together, it was just.
I mean, you gotta
know
know how to bend and move, I guess.
I know, but
you gotta please the table.
Of course, that day when I move, I'll be set. It'll be a day like the day before. I'm definitely doing nothing except getting prepped for it, and then it's like, okay, I can do it. But it's just when it does happen, sometimes it's just like I feel bad too because I'm like I want to help, I want to do this, but I can't.
Let's see. Someone wants to be on the show, but I'm not sure if he's available right now. Let's see if he is.
But knowing who I've become now, like I don't let that interfere with a lot of the things that I do now. Because when I was younger, I'd use that excuse just to get out of Kroger. Sometimes.
Yeah, you use it to get out of work.
Like
well, you'd use the actual.
I'd use it responsibly when it does.
If you want to
happen,
hop on Discord or something, we'll have you on the podcast right now.
Kroger and Meijer.
We're live. We're on video. Everything. If you want to. What's that? Okay. Well. I mean, we just started it. I just figured. I just saw your message. I figured, hey, if you got time, sure, we'll have you on. I mean, we're about to do a little few things that I want to talk about, but yeah, we love to whatever thought bubbles you're having, let's have them. We're gonna start. All right, man. I can't believe it. The last time I really spent time with you, I don't even think you were legally allowed to drive. So yeah, I'd love to talk. Yeah. We used to play DayZ together, right?
So,
yeah. All right, we'll talk. We got to keep going here, but you message me and we'll figure it out. But we're live, we're going. So. All right, bye.
So, right now, knowing who I've become now, back from when I was.
Speak up. I'm sorry for cutting you off in an important time. Yeah, get up in there.
When I was younger, I would definitely.
It's getting warm.
I would definitely use any way to get out of work.
Speak up. No, this is important because I feel it. I've been there. I've done it.
But sometimes it would be because I had to. There was times where my back did hurt so much where I was just like, you know what, I'm not coming in. It's not worth it. Because the way Meijer treated me, if they treated me better, I would more than likely come in there if I was in some kind of pain, I would still try to do work.
Well, that was always my philosophy. It was all right, that's how my dad raised me. Like, dude, just go. Just do it. Shut up. Do it. Suck it up. Walk it off. Blah, blah, blah.
But now that I'm older and the pain has, it does get worse at sometimes, and I do notice it.
Properties.
And luckily it's not during times where I do need to do things because I'm more productive than I was when I was younger. But, knowing who I am today, I'm more likely to go to work regardless. I try to manage it the way I manage it, but I will try to a point, Like when I went into work and I was sick that one day.
Yeah, usually, like me. You go and you work as hard as that's my new mindset. I do remember the back of the day there were days where I tricked.
I would never go to work,
Yeah.
Because it was mostly.
But you tried
this, right?
Fuck it.
It was mostly in person, and you don't want to get other people sick. You feel like crap. They treat you like crap, So I never did that whenever I would be sick for work. Now with this job, I went into work sick because it's virtual basically, and I was actually pretty sick to the point to where I was like, I can't do this.
Wait, are you talking about with our current job when they had to actually kind of give you the rest of the day off because you were messing up because
I couldn't. It was one of the, one of those colds where you can't think.
Well, brain frog.
Right.
Brain frog. I still, by the way, I hate that expression because now I understand it, but whenever I say it, I can't get it out of my mouth.
Not really brain frog.
Brain fog, brain frog. Ribbit, bitch.
Brain frog.
Brain frog, yeah, exactly.
Brain fog. It was more of like, when you get a lot of congestion in your head and you can't think, but then on top of that, there's the brain fog.
Brain fog. Now you're saying brain frog.
Brain fog.
But again, still the same idea. Yes.
So it was, and then on top of that, on top of that, after every call, I'd be like, trying to blow,
Of course, the fun part. You got to share the experience with the customer.
You got to clear your passages before you talk.
I wish there was a way I can make this, like, I can't wait to play around with this. I know they're, like, actively watching me just fuck this up totally, but, like, who cares? Like, like I said, we're evolving as we go, so yay.
So, after I did...
So he doesn't even care, which is great. No, I'm the one, like, panicking about the dumbest shit, but, like he says, the content is,
So, yeah, so now I'm not like I was. Thank God. Thank God I had that wake-up call. But the way it happened, that was kind of scary. When I had that... When I drank that entire fifth.
Well, it'll do that to you.
Yeah.
It taught me, I'll tell you what, I've only had 3 hangovers my entire life. And the very first one, I cannot drink Captain Morgan anymore. I never could after that moment. And I think I was 19.
Oh, really?
And I drank, so I kind of fucked up. I drank half of a handle. So the big bottle.
Okay. And how long though?
It doesn't matter. It's quick enough.
Okay.
Just killed it to the point where I thought, all right, best idea yet. Let's fill the rest of this bottle up with Diet Coke. Cause I don't even need to make a drink. Them drinks already mixed.
Fun fact: they actually did a study on different drinks, like different things you'd mix into your drink, and they found out that Diet Coke actually makes you drunk faster.
Say it again. Diet Coke?
Diet Coke makes you drunk faster.
Why?
It has something to do how it can increase how the feeling.
Or how? Yeah, sorry, not why. How? Yeah. Why does it choose to do this to you?
How the
what is its emotion while it ruins your life?
So what it does is it takes alcohol and it amplifies it a little bit. I think through
does it bind faster, or does it
it increases.
So it's clearly chemical. So I don't know shit about that.
Yeah, it's mostly chemical, and it just it increases the alcohol just a little bit, and so you end up being drunk faster. I know it has something to do with the carbonation too, but it's mainly.
See, and that's okay. No. You just sparked a really good point. My dad said something. My dad taught me this when I was younger. He said, avoid drinking carbonated alcohol. That I don't remember specifically why, but he said it'll get you drunk faster. Now, would that line up with what you just said? It sounded like
the old, that's still backed up. But I'm saying...
So that's my old world dad, his old world brand, Anthony, let's rub some, when you're a baby, let's rub some whiskey in your teeth and also don't drink. Well, so what is it though? Chemistry I had to take it twice before I passed.
I mean,
I didn't really
basically said that
I was stupid.
I think it's the sweetener or some chemical they used in Diet Coke.
Well, so that's my first thought. I was like, oh God, is this another aspartame,
It wasn't
story.
Aspartame, I don't think.
I don't know. But then when you mention carbonation, that's interesting because that's not the first time I've heard carbonation affect the process of something. Like the speed in which, it's... Dude, and by the way, I don't understand the benefit. Francesca loves fizzy. She bought the machine. I'm sorry. I know you want to see her beautiful face. I'll get rid of this here. We'll just say done, and look at that gorgeous little. Look at you, the producer. But Francesca swears by her fizzy water, and she has that machine where she buys the CO2. Is that what it is? Is it CO2? By the way, I'm so much taller than you that the whole time we've been doing this podcast, I've had to slouch because now we're in the. So I'm like, all right, let's. I need to be seen here, so
Well, I'm always sitting up in the chair.
So if I sit up, it's like, all right, you know what? Let me just stand up here and give a presentation. No, but anyway, she swears by the whole she loves her little fizzy water machine, and she makes it all the time. She goes on the and she, whatever. I don't like carbonated beverages in the sense when they're so carbonated where it's especially if they're warm, and everyone at this point should know. Warm equals too fizzy, cold equals awesome.
Yeah.
But when it is too fizzy, warm or cold, if I'm trying to drink a beverage, why does it turn simply into sticky saliva and bubbles in my mouth? Okay? I did not ask for sticky saliva and bubbles. I asked for a beverage with flavor. Okay? I wanted my orange or my grappe. You know what I mean?
I wanted my crepe.
I wanted my crepe.
My crepe.
Just like my croissant in the morning. But what the hell, man? So when I get soda, I'll open it and then I'll swirl it till it's like my level of that's what I want. Still a little fizzy, not flat, but like fuck all that shit. Fuck the bubble in the. You never got just like bubble and saliva. That's it. It's just like it just converts into just like.
Oh well, yeah, like the.
You're no longer drinking a drink. You're drinking potential burps. It's coming back up as air or gas.
Or it's like film that can get on your teeth too that you taste right away.
I don't know. You know, Mo talks about the. By the way, another plug. Mo over at Smokehouse in Fishers, Indiana. He's the one that always hooks us up with the best shit and the vapes and the Delta 8. He does a great job. He was supposed to be on and have fun tonight, but I guess he's stuck working in. I don't know. Maybe we'll see him still. But
now I didn't see Mo on my birthday, which was. Oh no! Wait, no. No, I did. No, I did. Yes, yeah.
You were pretty high on your birthday, so.
Yeah. Okay, so I did. I did see Mo on my birthday.
So you did go to the
because I bought those 2 drinks. Those two Delta 8 drinks.
Okay.
So basically.
Oh, and you remember you told me he was like, oh, and he hooked me up with this.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't remember that. You were high. You were. Yeah, man. I saw Mo. He gave me this free shit. Oh wait, did I see Mo?
Let's see,
That's what we does. Just it does. A little memory.
Well, my 25th birthday, I went.
He went all out.
I went all out. Yeah.
And by the way, going all out with weed is like saying I ran too fast and I got winded.
Yeah.
Like big deal. You can pick it up in 5 minutes. You're good.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I went to the vape shop and I was like, well, I tried one of the drinks the night before, and I really liked it, and it felt like having one can was like a buzz you'd get.
So you did feel something.
Yeah. So like
because again the edibles and shit doesn't do shit for me.
Having one full can felt like a beer to me. I was just
like that's what you're comparing it to the buzz you felt from a beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I guess that's how.
So then
an edible started from when it did work.
So then
it's kind of a warm buildup.
So I knew okay, well.
Well, you feel it.
So I knew if I was going to do it on my birthday, I'd probably need about 2. So I buy 2 cans. And
it's my birthday, so double down. Culture right there.
Might as well.
Might as well.
So exactly. I walk in there. And
I've just made it one just so everyone understands our philosophy of birthdays. I've just survived one. I think you know where I'm going. I've just survived one full fucking year. All this bullshit that's happening. Let's go get fucked up. That's how we're gonna celebrate. Let's
smartly
say fuck you.
More smartly, in a smart way. But anyway,
definitely.
So I bought those 2 cans, and as he's ringing me up and everything, I go, yeah, today's my 25th birthday, and he's like, oh cool, I'm like, I'm quarter of a century, woo. And so I guess before I left, I guess they have this birthday jar, where they would give you a free. Something free for your birthday. He pulls out this 100 milligram Delta 8 stick and goes, here. I'm like, oh, this. I was like, is this free? He's like, yeah, for your birthday. He's like, it's 100 milligrams. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. So I had those things, and then after we dropped off the bike part, I had a can of it in the car before we went out to B-Dubs.
What's B-Dubs? Tell me if you think that's real quick.
It's Buffalo Wild Wings.
Oh God.
Or that
what is it? Place. No, Wingstop. Dude, what is the obsession with
Buffalo
wings?
Wild Wings.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But we call it B-Dubs, and
B-Dubs.
And so.
Whatever. I didn't say.
So I had that can before I went into B-Dubs, and then I had a beer.
Wait, so before you even came over to my house, all of this shit already happened on that day. So while I was live streaming my video game and shit, just minding my own business, and you were like, because remember, I totally forgot you were coming over.
Right.
And you were like, hey, we'll be over soon. I was like, oh yeah. And then you came up and you're like, by the way, Finley's bringing some weed so you can have actual weed, whatever. I don't think it's real. Do you think it's real? So I got
how much money did you take out of the
Dude,
ATM?
there's no such... I've never... What the hell is cookie? Or cocaine? Or what the fuck's that say?
Yeah, it says... Okay.
Read it.
It says Chase fraud. We declined $9.99 with card ending 4... You know, blah, 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 at KOPPAY.
KOPPAY. Copay.
Was this you? Reply yes or no.
And now read how it says. Read the response. This is if you say yes, you will not be charged
unless you try again.
Unless you try again.
If no,
we will close
your current card.
Your current card
and send you a new
one. So that's not how getting. Just so you know, if anyone I know, right?
So you're basically telling me to
like there's no win there. Like, if I say yes, that's bad. If I say no, it's bad. It's like okay, go fuck yourself. That was very well written, but you're stupid because I'm not stupid. So you targeted the wrong person. But that's not how getting a card works. You know what I mean? You don't cancel it and then get a new one. You have to go through a process, talk to a person, get it verified.
Dude, I remember when I got mine back, it took them 2 weeks technically. They sent me a new one.
Oh yeah, it takes a little bit.
The first week, I got it in 1 week. I was like,
for me it was a week. Yeah.
I set the card up, and right when I set it up, it wouldn't even let me activate it. Excuse me. It wouldn't even let me activate it.
At least mine smells good.
So
apple peach, bitch. What was that burp? What did you eat last?
Fries.
That's right. I smelled your fart earlier. So he's at my door, and apparently this was the right way to go about this. Totally. I'm out there in the balcony area, and he's standing there, and he goes, huh? And he goes, and then he just casually walks into this room, going like this, right in here, this way, and I'm thinking, dude, I have to come in past you, and so there's this stream of odor, so I just hold my breath, and I run into, like, over behind me, back by my bed, but I still smelled it, and I was like, I just ran in, I sprinted, I was like, what the fuck, man? And then I smelled it, and it smelled like sharp cheese. It was
I did have a burger last night, but
man,
it smelled like sharp cheese.
Like I just bolted. I think I got the tail end of it, so to speak.
Well, I had fries.
Or the tail butt of it.
I had the rest of my meal this morning, and I had a bunch of fries, and so I knew it was weird. I only had one drink, and I was.
How did you?
And I was hungover. Like just.
You were hungover.
Just slightly. Like it wasn't like.
What did you do yesterday?
Literally, all I did was I had one drink.
No. Did you go out for your birthday with your dad, even though it wasn't your birthday? That was like, let's go. Yeah, like I'm off tomorrow, whatever.
Right. I had one one bourbon drink.
Oh, because you didn't have the shitty shift I have where I work till 10:30.
Yeah.
You were off at 4, so it was like you had the whole day to yourself.
Right.
You got to enjoy everything while I was stuck doing nothing for like another 4.5 hours. Okay, gotcha.
So we went out
to make sure.
to Brewburger, and I had I had a double bacon burger they had.
Oh.
And so I eat that.
You don't like fried egg on a burger?
No.
Oh.
I had that, and then I had all these fries. I was just like, I'll save them for later. And my dad had fries too, because we both had onion rings that were really good. Oh my god. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead. My dad's like, you want my fries? I'm like, sure. I'll just go ahead and take them all home.
Yeah.
And so the next morning.
So how'd you remake them?
I put them in the air fryer.
There you go. Oh, here?
No.
Oh, you have an air fryer?
Yeah.
Cool.
At my dad's.
So do we. You know, by the way, that was Zach's. He left it here.
Oh, really?
What a dumbass. I would have been like, no, the air fryer. Mine.
Did he take his medieval coffee maker thing that he had? He puts it,
I think he did because he's obsessed with that.
Yeah.
Only him.
But I could see him leaving his air fryer.
Yeah, like he didn't even think about it. Like the dude is gone. I mean,
So, I had like one bourbon drink. It was called the Taxi, remember?
That's right. Okay, so it's bourbon and like lemon?
Yeah, it was like...
That's not a bad... It doesn't sound like a bad combination.
Maybe something else. It tasted like it's like a different type of alcohol in there, but I couldn't place it. But anyway...
See, I couldn't...
I had one of those drinks and ate all that food, and then I woke up the next morning and I was just like, oh, why do I feel extra tired? And I'm hungover. But then I think I was just dehydrated because...
Well, yeah.
But also bourbon, I don't drink bourbon all the time, and I had probably an equivalent to about a shot of bourbon, and I already had that like head buzz that you get from bourbon. Like
Yeah.
it's very blunt, but it's like you
Yeah.
barely need any.
You recognize it.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, it was nice, but then I woke up the next morning and I'm like, oh my
That's why, you know,
God.
like, in all the movies and TV shows and shit, like, they're like, oh, this is aged 20 years. and
Right.
This is more than you make in a, and, you know, and it's like that you always see people
This is-
drinking, like, one drink.
Right.
One little,
And they
with
sip it.
ice.
Yeah,
Yep. And
and
they
they sip
sipped,
it.
and that's
Yep.
it. It's a fancy ass, don't overdo it, alcohol. Like, I was wrong. When I was growing up, I always said, in fact, since you've known me, I still said this, but I disagree now, especially based on what I told you earlier. I thought, dude, it's alcohol, it's all going to affect you the same. But then I started thinking about my experience with weed versus the Delta
Right.
8, and
But they're all
the
different.
changes, well, it's
Yeah.
not even that, it's when you switch alcohol, or you switch
Yeah.
nicotine product, or you switch
Right.
weed product.
Because you're not
Whatever.
used to. You're not.
Your
used
brain's like, okay, I
Oh, this
understand
is
that
new.
drug. Yeah, I understand that drug, but this is a new way to introduce it to me.
To, right.
So I think, yeah, in a sense, until your body becomes tolerant to it, the minute you try something different or new, you're like, whoa! Like I said, what did I say? I had one beer,
Yeah, one beer.
because all I did was drink vodka. Vodka. Lots of vodka. Lots of vodka. That's a Richard Nixon vodka. Yeah, lots of vodka. And I got to do this too. Yeah. But then when I had one, what'd you just do? Oh, then I had one beer, and I was so buzzed. I was like, whoa, because my body's like, yeah, water, vodka is water, just vodka. And then all of a sudden, beer kicks
But-
in, and it was like,
See, with alcohol, like
Yeah.
a Bud Light, I had 7 of those on my actual birthday, and I wasn't even like I didn't
Right.
feel anything. I felt like I was just really hydrated. And
I'm
then-
not talking about tolerance, like.
Well,
you
right.
know what
I know
Like,
what you mean when you switch.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
when
yeah.
I had like vodka and whiskey for like,
You drink beer all day. The problem is you end up peeing forever. I
well,
mean,
see, for me it's weird. It's like now that I'm not that young anymore, and I don't drink.
and
a
weight
lot.
gain. And weight gain.
What?
I was gonna say in weight gain. Is that where you're going?
Well,
Beer just straight
yeah,
up weight
yeah,
gain.
right. But
I mean, maybe you weren't going there.
But what I'm
yeah.
saying is, I used to drink a lot more when I was 21, in college than I do now. And so now it's like, since I barely drink, sometimes I'll have, one 22-ounce beer and be like, decent buzz. I don't,
22 ounce beer.
Yeah.
24 ounce beer.
or 24-ounce
Yeah,
beer.
yeah, yeah.
I'd have that and be like, okay, decent buzz, and be done. And it's like, now it's like, if I want to drink something, I'd probably go with a bourbon and just drink a little bit. You know
So that's
I mean?
what I'm thinking when we go out tonight, because I still drink. It's just I'm not drinking. You know what I mean? I'm not like.
Right. But see, going out like
But-
that, I'd get a beer or something.
So I'm excited to see. This will be my first time. Well, first of all, first time in general. Now that we're talking about going out, let's cover that. Then we'll go over the 12-step thing. I think that's interesting. And I haven't told you jack shit. And you don't know the 12 steps, right?
12 steps for.
For recovery.
Oh, I know some of them. Yeah.
Okay, so I was really interested in okay, I do want to continue bettering myself. And I was like, okay, I know AA meetings don't work for me. They don't work for everyone. But I was like, but there's clear evidence, that the 12 steps do work for people. So I was like, let's see what they say. And I started picking up. Now, my theory is I've been accidentally following them unintentionally. Like, I've been doing it without even knowing they were the steps, which is good. I mean, it means I want to recover. But, I'm never going to stop drinking, by the way. Like, I just want to say that, I want to become healthy with alcohol.
See,
Great.
even after what happened when I drank that massive amount, which I've never done before, and plus that was
I've never seen you.
that's kind of impressive because even then I wasn't.
You should have
I
been
wasn't-
dead.
Okay.
So yes, it's impressive.
No,
it's impressive.
not in that standard. I'm
Okay,
saying
okay.
from the point that I don't drink as much when I was in college.
Yeah,
Than I was in
yeah.
college. So the fact that I was able to drink all of that.
And I
in
got
3
worse and worse. I was
I drank all that in 3 hours, and I don't drink a lot now compared to when I was
Yeah.
younger. And I serve.
No, that's great. That's
that makes
great.
that makes
Oh, so
sense.
you were drinking heavy in
Yeah.
college, or
Yeah, because when I went out to college after my 21st,
when I went out to college?
when I went after my 21st,
Did you go out with college? Take it out on a nice date?
Sure. But
you paid her money. You better fucking get something in return, right?
They bought me all the drinks.
College did?
Yeah. Well, no, not college.
No, I'm being metaphorical. All right,
yeah, but people.
Excuse me.
My friends who are already 21.
Yeah.
As soon as I came back from winter break and I was like, yeah, I'm 21. They're like, you want to go to the bar? Sure. And they're like, we'll buy you all your drinks. I'm like, oh,
I see what you're saying.
Okay, cool. And so I ended up having like 7 real beers, really, and then about 6 shots. In 3 hours.
Ooh.
And I was already trashed at 6 p.m. in the afternoon because we went right after classes that day. They're like, "You're 21." They're like, "Look, we don't have any homework this week, obviously." Because
wait, they actually said don't go to class?
No. This is after class.
Oh, okay.
I came back to college, and then I was like, "Yeah, I got class in the morning. You know, we can't do it tonight." And they're like, "Well, tomorrow after class, we'll just go," because it was like the weekend right after. And so we did that, and I was drunk at 6 p.m. I went back to bed, slept for 2 hours, got back up, ate something, went back out, and drank more that night.
Oh, no!
But then when I woke up the next morning, I felt great. Like, I had no hangover. It was just like...
You're 21, baby!
Oh, my God. It was just like... and I drank all that twice going out. And, I had fun, but it was just...
No,
like,
I still
felt... I still had that feeling where, like, you sit down, you have to eat a bunch, but it wasn't like a hangover. It was just eat something.
I still, like I said, my entire life, 3 hangovers. I remember every single one. That's how I know it's not... I remember... they're very funny stories, but
when
like,
I went to
we don't need to
when
get
I went to that frat
right
party
now,
and got absolutely trashed, because I ended up smoking a blunt that was weed crystals,
I remember,
oil, wax,
yeah,
like
just all weed, baby.
Yeah,
all the kinds of
and
marijuana.
So I'm already messed up because I'm already drinking, and I smoke this like I'm smoking a blunt or something at a party, like I would usually do, but it's all this stuff combined. They're like easy, so I kind of ease up, and then there was
They told you
there was just like this much left of the blunt. And they're like, here, finish it. I'm like, okay. I thought it was just a regular blunt. No. So I'm smoking it, and I
couldn't even do that with a regular
I get
blunt.
so messed up.
Yep.
I end up, I'm in the living room. We're watching.
No, you're in the ether, brother. You're not even on Earth anymore.
Here's what I remember. I'm in the living room, and we're just
there is such thing as smoking too much weed.
We're drinking a little bit, and then we're watching TV, and I end up getting up. I take my shirt off, and I dance around, and I go, pew, pew, with my fucking, I make my hands like guns, and I go, pew, pew, and fall backwards on the couch, and my face is just
like intentionally?
No, this is what happened, because I didn't recall this, and then I fell back on the couch, and my face was like this.
Just smiling?
Yeah, with that big of a grin, just... They had it on videotape too, I guess.
I mean, I guess videotape. What are we? 1984?
Well, not videotape, but they had it on.
No, but whoa, you got blitzed, dude. You were gone.
Yeah. The next.
Do you think it was just weed? Because that doesn't. You know what I mean? Like at that point, I'm scared. Like, are you sure it was just weed?
I was drinking heavily too.
So you were. Well, at least you had a smile on your face. You know, like ultimate end of the day moment.
I was kind of like this, but then I woke up a little bit after. I was still out of it.
I can actually see you better through the camera and watch you that way, yeah.
But, I was still out of it when I woke up. I woke up probably like an hour after. And so they're like, hey, you should go lay down because we're having more people over. Just, pick one of the rooms. We got you. There's a lock on it. Go ahead and lock it. You can just sleep there.
Put yourself on lockdown while you recover.
Right. So I went straight to bed, and I just woke up the next morning, and I got up, and apparently I pissed in the toilet so perfectly because that night I had to go pee real bad, and I'm using someone else's toilet, but I'm drunk as fuck. So like if I pissed everywhere, I wouldn't know that I did that, and so apparently the next morning I woke up. And the only thing I forgot to do was flush. The toilet was completely clean, sparkly clean, like nothing happened. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
So is this how you're gonna behave when you live here? Like you'll make sure you don't splatter.
I don't get
even when you're drunk. Even when you're drunk, you'll piss in the toilet. Cool. No, you missed vomiting one time. That's for sure. Yeah, you missed that one.
I can't projectile vomit. It just all comes out. Once it starts coming out, I don't stop.
It's like shooting a shotgun. Do you really have aim? No. Dude, when I've had to projectile vomit, like when I was really heavily drinking, I would throw up almost every morning.
Okay.
And it was terrifying. And I thought I was dying of cancer. I thought no, it was because I was drinking too much. But I realized it was projectile vomit. So wherever I had to throw up, let's just say there were issues that I had to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, fuck, it's scary, dude. It's scary.
So,
like, I'm okay to talk about it, but like...
So after that...
But I had to get really close to, you know what I mean? Because it's a shotgun.
Right. So after I woke up and, you know, I was able to walk. Barely even walk, too. It was just
so you were fatigued, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, fuck. And so I go out there and I'm like, everyone's knocked out. And I'm like...
Oh, that's right. You're still there.
Yeah, I'm like, should I just, like, go? Like, not say goodbye or whatever.
I've done that.
I mean, it
ain't your fucking house.
I know, but
the party's over, dog. Go home.
It was kind of awkward, but I stayed around for like 5 more minutes because I was like,
for who?
Because I wanted to talk to the head guy because I guess I got too fucked up and I heard about that. So it's a good thing I stayed around because I got a text from him. From one of my friends, and they're like, "Hey, when you wake up, just stay there for a little bit."
See, I asked you on one of the podcasts. I asked you if you had good college stories. You said, "Not really."
Well, these are just
good stories.
Okay, I guess.
All right, keep
on.
So, they're just okay. I'll ask you for okay stories next time. My bad.
So
I overdid it.
So then I'm like, so the guy tells me, he's like, look, you know, I guess when you were fucked up, you took a cold beer and I guess like we could tell you accidentally threw it, but you like threw it at the president or something of the frat. And so I was just like, oh shit, I didn't know. They're like, we get it, you know, the first time drinking. Yeah, you had fun, we could tell, but they're just like,
That was your first time drinking?
No.
Oh, yeah.
That was like my first time drinking.
Drinking, like, socially, like...
But heavily, like, as I did,
yeah.
you know. And so they're just like, okay, just next time you see him, apologize. I'm like, well, you at least point him out to me because I probably don't know what he looks like.
Oh, no.
Well, because I was...
No, I know. Yeah, you just happened to throw the beer at the right person.
Right. But luckily, I saw him before I left, and he's like, nah, dude, you're cool. We get it.
Dude.
And then he looks at me, and he's like, you obviously look like you had fun last night. Just go home, rest, you're good. I'm like, okay, cool. So I walk out of the frat house, and as I'm walking just slightly off their property, like I'm on the sidewalk, because how it is, it's like their property is in school area, but it's not school area because it's private property because they own it.
Yeah.
And so I cross the street and I'm still on the sidewalk, but I have to go to the crosswalk to get over here because the cops are real dicks, even if you run it. No, really. And so I go to the crosswalk and I'm like halfway there, and I just see this cop car whiz by me. And this was right after I walked out of the frat house after that big, and I was probably still a little bit drunk in the morning, you know. And I'm walking and I just see this cop car go vroom, and I was like, what? And then I realized, I go, oh, he just drove right by. Just go.
That's it. It's just
right. It was just like that shot.
Oh yeah. Like also, what are you even worried about, dude? The party's again. The party's over.
Right.
Home.
I know,
like,
but it's just like.
Why are you calling the cops dicks?
No, I was underage. I wasn't supposed to have alcohol.
So they're automatically dicks because you're underage and worried? It's not fair.
See,
there are dick cops.
Right.
There are dick people everywhere.
What I'm saying is, the college I went to.
You had dick security, or were they cops?
We had both. The CSOs we could handle. The cops, if you got...
We had public safety. We didn't have cops.
If you got involved,
they came.
If you got involved with the actual police, like even who attend campus, that was bad. But like the CSOs we could handle because they're students. They're just...
Oh, we didn't have that.
Yeah, it's just...
We had actual like ex-military, ex-police.
Yeah.
They were
campus. And
whatever.
The CSOs were just like they were nothing. Like honestly,
yeah, no, I wouldn't give a fuck.
If you were dumb enough to have something out you weren't supposed to,
if a student, so the same with RAs,
you would get busted.
I have a really awful story. If you want to talk about, I don't know if I should tell this story actually. Let's just say I never liked if a peer told me what to do. When I was younger, I was very anti-authority. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I was like, dude, you have no right to tell me what to do. And I was right. I even got away with what I did.
Right.
Should I? I mean, whatever. You know what? They're never going to hear this. And I was, 19.
Okay.
And I'm almost 35 now. But...
Yeah, mine was over 7 years ago.
Yeah.
6-7 years ago.
So I had an RA who was not very friendly. She loved the power. You could tell. She bled it. She loved the power, and she was not a friendly person. That she was just known to be kind of the B word, and that's not my opinion because I don't know her, so I'm not going to call her that. But I did act out. So dun 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 dun. So I had a friend over. It's the angry Russian that I told you about, the one that I had to flee from, and I packed all my shit up in a car and I left the place and I never looked back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But when he was still a not angry Russian, when he was a normal Russian, oh wait, no, they're all angry. Never mind. So when he was a normal Russian, whatever. When we were still kicking it, I had him over, but it was summer and we weren't allowed to have friends over. No guests.
Right.
I mean, you should be grateful that you even live on campus and during. Well,
we could have guests on weekends.
I had him. Yeah, I couldn't. I had him over, and I don't know. He was smoking weed. He had all of his stuff in my room, and it was out the window, whatever. So like, I wasn't
still,
really.
though, like,
but still, exactly. But still, exactly.
Because people would smoke out the window in Vincennes, and you could smell it in the fucking. Oh my god.
But again, 19-year-old brain and him, 19-year-old brain. We're the same age. I mean, actually, we're both born in March, so we're just about the same age exactly. But so. Someone's banging on the door saying,
oh yeah, dude, you should check to see what day you have for your birthday, like day of the week.
I don't care. You got lucky. I don't care.
Well, no, next year, guess what I'm gonna do? I'll just take one of my flex days. You can use it for your birthday.
See, you want to? I remember I told you I don't celebrate birthdays. Everyone's like, "Oh, what are you doing on your birthday?" I'm like, "What I do every day."
For me, even if all my friends were busy, I just want the day off because it's like it's.
I understand that. No, that's fine. I mean, if that's totally, whatever. I mean, no, but anyway, so he bolts out the window, leaving all of his paraphernalia. Okay. But this genius of him has it in a bag labeled his full name. I'm not going to say it out loud, but labeled his first and last name.
Oh my god.
And so they come in and I was like, well, yep, that was his stuff, clearly. And they're already chasing him. Like, they're already, and he gets away. I don't know what he did, but he got away. So he's gone. Mm-hmm. So he just left me, by the way. I just want to point out, like, that night.
But that night was easy to get out of, for sure.
Oh, for him? Yeah, he doesn't go to the school.
Well, no, I mean for you too, because...
Well, no. So that's the thing. I didn't I broke the rules. I had someone over. Oh. I didn't get in trouble for any marijuana or anything like that. I wasn't, nothing. I mean...
Oh, it was just having someone over?
Yep, having someone over. Oh, no, but it was an offense where they were like, all right, well, we can't have you here during the summer. Oh. So don't worry. It gets fun. I've lived a very weird life. I love it. So now I have to make the argument to the dude who controls the housing during the summer. Blah blah blah. It turns out I'm really good friends with him. I'm in with him already. He's like 20, 30 years older than me, but he likes me as a student. That's all I know. He's a professor, but he also organized. Whatever. He goes, all right, Anthony. And so I told him, I said, well, here's the thing. My mom is visiting all of this was fact. Because the fact of the matter is, this is college shit. I broke the rules. My parents are going to find out. Right. So I told him the truth. I was like, here's the thing, though. And actually I got lucky because I'd never had to tell my parents. But it was the truth. And they could tell you to this day because they know this story. They didn't know at the time, but they know it now. I said my mom's in Wisconsin seeing a dying relative. It's one of, I can't remember, but one of her family members. I said my dad is literally out of the country on business until yada yada. I said the summer's over in 2 weeks. Can we work something out where I just stay and we move on? Mm-hmm. And get this, because I had a good standing with him already. He goes, and this is where we go back to the RA and power tripping and shit. He goes, you know what, Anthony, I understand your deal. Stay here. Don't worry about the pay. Mm-hmm. He, instead of getting punished, he said, you can stay here for the rest of the summer. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about paying a thing. I think he thought I meant like my parents aren't here, so I couldn't afford it. I don't have anywhere to go. Period.
Right.
And he goes, stay here, don't pay a thing, don't worry about it. Now that, first of all, I was, whoa, happy. But it let me really realize, like, okay, I should learn from this. But did Anthony learn from it as a 19-year-old idiot? I mean, I never got in trouble after that, but in that sense. But, so this B word, supposedly, residential advisor, RA, she doesn't like that I still get to be here because she's the one who wanted me out. She didn't like that I broke the rules and I got away with it. She was not having it, dude. She was not having it. And I understand that's her job, you know, enforce. But she wasn't very nice. You know, if she was nice, I would have listened to her, maybe. Right. But every night it was like she was knocking on my door complaining about, you know, noise, that it was like, dude, I'm doing everything that everyone else is, and it's summer, no one's here. Classes are already done for the summer. Why are you on my ass? And I would confront her with that. Like, what are you doing? Well, my mature motherfucking ass, here's what it all wraps up. And I'm not proud of this. I truly am not. I went out one night. I still had friends over. At that point, I had no rules. Mm-hmm. I was like, fuck it. I got away with this. Like I said, I should have learned from it. But I pushed the envelope. Because fuck whatever, rules and shit. Mm-hmm. I keyed her car while I had a friend over. Can't even remember who it was. But I straight up I was drunk, took my key, went across her entire side of her car, keyed it. Next day, knock on the door. It was her all screaming at me and like, I know it was you. And I just sat there like a sociopath. Like, no, it wasn't me. I have no idea what you're talking about. And I just kept that up. Then all of a sudden it was her, public safety, and her boyfriend. And her boyfriend was, you could tell he was kind of, for whatever reason, siding with me. Maybe he was just like, who cares, let's move on, there's nothing you can do about it. Right. But he was like, Anthony, just let us know. Like, was it you? And I said, no, I have no idea. I said, I know she upset a lot of people, but it wasn't me. And I just looked at him with that, like, I'm looking at myself, like, how scary is that? Like, I just, and he goes, all right, can we go, like, it's obviously not him. Right. Oh, buddy. Every time I saw her, up until she graduated, I saw her at her graduation, just past ways, and the stink eye I would get. And because I understand now as an adult, it's like, dude, what I did to her cost her probably hundreds of dollars, and why did I do it? Because she was doing her job? Like, yeah, she could have been a B word, fine, but why did I lash out? And that's, you know, yeah.
You were drunk.
I was,
I mean,
blame it on the alcohol. All right, so real quick, let's keep moving here. I want to plug this guy. So I had a customer at work. We both work at the same job. We're not going to tell you who. It's over 100 years old. And they're just like, over 100 years old. Yeah. Stoneworking. What would be an out-of-date job? What would people be doing 100 years ago that we wouldn't do now?
Oh, gosh. Probably mass burial.
Oh, that's dark. Okay. Let's hope it stays that way. Right, I mean,
right.
We know that right now, as of 2022, in LA alone, we're losing 5 people a day, deaths.
Oh, wow.
To drug use.
Oh, shit.
And Dr. Drew's trying to fight it, trying to pass legislation for it. He's even considering running for governor of California. And I swear to God, if he does, I will fly back out there. I will get my, because, you know, they don't believe in dual citizenship here. Mm-hmm. So they cut up my ID, my California ID when I moved here. Mm-hmm. Right in front of me. Just cut it up. I was like, what? No. That was mine. That's me.
Oh, yeah, you have to have an Indiana.
Has to just be Indiana. So, but if he goes for governor, I will be back. I'm not even kidding. I will go back to family over in California or friends. I will stay there. I'll get my license or ID. Easy peasy. I'll vote for him and then fly back out here and fucking live here again. Not even kidding. That man needs to be in office. That man, he already has a powerful voice, but even more people need to hear him. But anyway, the fuck are we talking about?
So you were saying what job would we have back then?
Oh yeah, 100 years ago, without being super dark. Yeah.
I mean, but 100 years ago.
Like, okay, 100 years ago, like, let's see.
We wouldn't have speakeasy jobs.
Okay. So you keep going like to extremes. Like,
Okay,
where are you going? What's wrong with you?
Would I guess
You having a good day or a bad day today?
Well, let's see here. We still have bricklayers, I guess.
Dude, yeah, right. Like I was thinking masonry.
Well, I guess we have less masons. It's more of like we have more construction. Yeah, no, we have more construction than we do.
Something with phone operating. Something. There's got to be some jobs that are just gone. I mean, the postal.
Oh wait, no,
services.
wasn't there not a speed dial job, but
I don't know why I'm doing this though.
yeah, you're right. It's like they would sit there in an office and there'd be like this big board.
They'd have panels, and so they still have switch. I think they're called switch panels. Is that what it's called?
Switchboards, but
switchboards.
It'd be a wake up call person too. They did it even more back then. And so like if you
like
were,
or even in a hotel.
Yeah, so
like they call you, be like, "Good morning, Erdman."
Right.
Wake up.
Or like if you were calling to someone like out of the hotel.
Yeah.
Or whatever,
Now you have arms. And
sometimes they'd take a wire out of his board where you are and move the cable into this area, and then
that's the switchboards.
Yeah, switchboard. You'd be able to call out.
Yeah. So that's outdated. However, they still have those jobs. They still
have wake up calls.
Remember when we had to call the police and we had to talk to the what do they call them? Dispatcher.
Right, dispatcher.
Dispatcher was switchboards. I'm sure now it's just all a fucking computer, but I think that's gone. I imagine that's gone.
Now most hotels don't have a wake up call service, but I think some of them still do. But you wouldn't really need it because you have a phone that and they put a fucking alarm clock in your.
Yeah. Well, in fairness, I said what jobs were they doing 100 years ago? I don't think they had those 100 years ago. But like as far as like calling in and like wake up, you might have had butlers or some shit. They're like, hey,
wake
like
up.
I asked you to wake me up and way to go. By the way, you failed.
Miserable. I knocked on the door and your door was locked, so I called you.
I specifically said, bang on the door, and if that doesn't work, bang on the wall where Zach used to snore, because I know that sounds disruptive.
The phone still woke you up, though.
That's the funny thing, too. I forgot to check that. When you wake up, when you wake up, you're totally disoriented?
Yeah.
And I was still dreaming, so I knew it was you. I must have saw your picture or something on the phone. But I was yelling at you. I don't know if you heard me from downstairs, but I said something like, "This is childish. Why are you doing?" Like I was yelling at you, and then I slowly woke up and I was like, "Oh."
No, I heard you through your room, but I didn't.
Because I sleep talk, dude. I sleep everything. That's what I accidentally engaged in sex when I was asleep once. We'll save that for another podcast. No, apparently, what did Dr. Drew say? He said everything you can do awake, you can do in your sleep.
Yeah.
And so I still go back to that moment of how, someone called him and talked about that. Like, okay, I feel like I violated someone, but the thing is, like, the woman that he did it to, she was enjoying it, and it was his partner, and he explained it to her, and they communicated about it, and she was like, "Oh, it doesn't bother me," and it was like, "Oh, cool." But hey, why not, right?
Right.
But when I did it, was with a girl that I had met a few times, when I came to and I was on top of her, I was like, oh my god, but she was enjoying it. So so Dr. Drew said it right away, like this dude, his co-host, whoever it was, like he said, what do you do in a situation like that? And he goes, well, you're a man, you're just gonna finish, like just like you're gonna once you're in it, like you're gonna. And I was like, damn, that's true. I did. I was like, there's a moment where you're like, what the fuck's going on? And then you're like, okay, let's keep going.
Right.
But when we finished, she was like, wow, I've never experienced that before. And I said, no, what just happened? And this again was when I was heavily drinking, and I think because I had just gone to her place for the first time, had just kind of met her. She was a little older than me. I was in my, mid-20s, she was early 40s. And I was a little nervous, so I brought over some alcohol, brought over a pizza. How classy, right?
Here's some pizza.
Here's some alcohol and pizza. Let me have you wake up to me having sex with you.
She's basically having dinner with the pizza boy.
No,
it's like the pizza boy.
The pizza man. Oh my god, you're right.
The pizza boy comes over with a pizza already made and a bottle of alcohol, just like here you go.
No, so I really wanted to make sure she didn't feel violated, because I was just so confused. But she was like, no, I thought it was so hot. And I was like, Okay, but here's the thing. And now I haven't dated since even then.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a lot of like, having
Right.
having fun. I went through a phase where I
Right.
thought it would help,
But
it didn't. It didn't. But I realize now whenever I start dating again, I am going to have to explain to my partner, I do a lot of shit when I'm asleep. I've had conversations with Zach, my father, possibly you. I'm very disoriented sometimes. I've sleepwalked, sleep ate. I've apparently had sex without knowing it and then snapped into it. But really, they need to know that because that would be really disruptive if it's like
Right.
it's like we're sleep. Like, it really originates in my head. It's like people hit you when they're in this. That's
Right.
normal. Like, I've
Right.
heard that's happened to me. I've had girlfriends like punch me, kick me on like turn around, like right in the face. Like, poor Dr. Drew, he says his wife just gets him in the nuts all the time.
Oh.
I know.
Just wear a cup to bed, I guess.
Yeah, right. Oh my God! Someone should tell you just wear a cup. Find some fancy, cup that is comfortable.
Wear a metal garter belt like they had back in the day.
No, you have that new fancy.
Well, you
gotta get something cozy down.
Well,
there.
for women they'd have those like those like metal under.
Chastity belt.
Yeah, chastity belts.
I wonder if those.
But
is
then
that
they also
actually real? That's.
But then they also had one for a guy too. So like it would have like an.
How would you pee? How did a girl pee? Well, I guess
Right?
she just let it leak out.
It had like an indentation of a dick on the thing, and it's just like, oh, poor guy.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like the metal.
So like
cast.
it was all
the metal
metal.
cast is.
It was all metal.
Design. That's all cold metal. On
Yeah,
your,
right.
Well, I guess it'll shrink your. You'll have the cold.
Right.
You're not gonna be horny. That's for sure.
And then maybe that was the idea.
Wait, that actually. Now you're telling me there's a male version of it.
Yeah.
That actually was a thing. I thought you were making a joke.
No, yeah, there's a male version of it they had, I guess. I didn't know either. I thought they just had the chastity.
So how'd he pee?
I guess it had like I don't know if it had like a thing on it or what, but.
All right, let's first of all, I think this is our last plug for the night, but this is what I was saying. This is a customer that I had at work. And, that's when we went into 100 years and all that bullshit. But, yeah, he's just super friendly. Like, I couldn't help him specifically for the job, but he was super friendly. You can tell he's very Christian. lots of Jesus, talk, lots of Christian moral speech.
Right.
But nothing wrong with that. Sounded very kind. And he was like, he goes, there was a reason that God had us talk today. And it wasn't to, again, I can't tell you guys what we do for a living, but it wasn't to solve X, Y, and Z. It was to meet you. And I was like, okay, that's a very sweet thing to see. He also said a prayer for me, which, by the way, was very kind.
I had a customer do that to me as well.
It was like, he just sat there. It was just like, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Why not?
Actually, it was a Kroger customer. This was really weird. So I was at Kroger, doing my thing at the gas station.
Someone's asking, what is this podcast about? What do you want to say? So essentially,
I think it's just it's old stories about going out.
What? Okay,
No,
let me. I got you. Essentially, I was tired of constantly messaging him or people, friends, of just like when you have a thought. I like to think. I like to learn. I like to think.
Oh wait, what is the pod? Okay.
What's the podcast?
Yeah. Okay.
Not this podcast. Not today.
Okay,
so hold on. You cover that. All right, go ahead.
Because I came up with the
because
name.
this is a new person, so we should
I
answer the question.
I came up with the name.
We did that by accident with an email. Oh, right. You mean the thought? Yeah. Anyway, go on.
Okay, so
no one cares who came up with the name.
So we were thinking of what should we call this podcast? What would we do on it? What's our thing? And so Anthony was mentioning. Oh well,
Stop. They didn't ask why we called it this. I'm just going to answer the question quick before we lose someone.
Okay, go ahead.
I was tired of having thoughts that I couldn't express with people, and I was like, wouldn't it be nice if we all, just like any podcast, could just have anyone, unnamed, nobody's, quote unquote. Oh, she's gone, by the way, but or he, be able to express your thoughts, if you have interesting thoughts that you want to discuss, no matter what it is, just talk about it. You know, have an ability. I wanted him to have a voice. I wanted to have a voice.
So I thought of it as like random thoughts, random things that would just pop into your head, and then
that are noteworthy.
Yeah, well, right. And so I was trying to find a name for it, and I was like, well, what about just Thought Bubble? And then apparently that's been so used
totally.
so much.
What were we thinking? We're so creative. You know, what were we thinking, really? Though?
Right.
Yeah.
But when we found out, I was like, okay, maybe we should change the name, and then it just turned into Thought Bubble Podcast with us. No one had that specific title.
We did Thought Bubble Podcast. And then I said, fuck it, because I was already writing the email address. I was trying to save the email address. And I was like, fuck it, with us. And it was like, check. And I was like, okay, guess what, dude? I don't care. We're done.
Right.
It's Thought Bubble Podcast with us. That's
exactly.
it. And so now it's just, whatever. It's fun. I don't care.
But I'm pretty sure if we typed in Thought Bubble in YouTube, it'd be...
Oh, my God, dude. I've already tried. Like, you literally... Now, if you literally do type in Thought Bubble Podcast with us, I had a friend ask me, oh, is that THOTT? And I was like, I understand, culturally why we jump to that.
No.
But no, this is actually just spell everything, so I had to sit there and I felt like I was like rereading the email. I'm like THOUGHD. And she goes, oh yeah, I found it. But if you do type it in, it comes up right away. It's just like, yeah. So this customer calls in, very kind guy. I can't remember his name, and I think that's okay because he wants to be known, I assume, as co-host music, and that's on YouTube. He's got a very low subscriber level, but he's a good guy. And dude, I'll tell you this is what caught me to his channel. I haven't gotten to listen to his, it looks like music content, and he talked about a lot. It's excuse me, it's soul and he says eclectic, like it's a unique, but the effort they put into COHOST music, all one word. But the effort, look at that picture of them. So this is the customer that I talked to on the left.
Okay.
That was the dude on the phone praying for me and, telling me that, Jesus is going to, there's, all this nice stuff. And then I look at this, and dude, I just look at the effort they put into the artwork. It's got that Vice City vibe in the background.
Right.
They're wearing they got this 80s Michael Jackson outfit going, and the picture is very high quality.
Chic or high quality.
Yeah, chic. Sure, you want to go chic. It has a very. He's right. Eclectic is a good word.
Right.
It's weird. I like it. But yeah, he's only got 18 subscribers, so I figured, hey, let's...
So when that one lady at Kroger prayed for me...
prayed for you, that's right.
So I was at work, and it was a busy day, and it was... Well, no, it wasn't a busy day, just a lot of...
I'll pull up the 12 steps, by the way, when you finish,
A lot of assholes were there that day.
A lot of assholes?
Yeah, so it was just like, I was having a bad day, whatever, and so really that's all it was, and so... I'm helping her. I'm still giving her, the best customer service I can provide. And, she then, I guess after she bought gas, she walks away and she's about to get gas like normal, Then she walks back and she sees me and I stand back up and I'm like, oh, hey, do you need anything else? And she just looks at me and she goes, honey, I don't need anything. But she goes, can I pray for you? And I go, I'm like, well, I couldn't say. I was kind of in shock, and she goes first. Well, do you believe in God? And I'm like, not really, not.
How about this? It doesn't really matter.
Right. Well, but Right, but I said,
pray for me. Pray for me.
But she asked me that. I was like, not really, not particular. And she goes, it's fine. I'm going to pray for you anyway. I was like, oh, okay, sure. And she was asking me, what do you want me to pray for you about?
That's what he asked me too.
And I'm like, well, I don't really know. Maybe except for just a better work environment, maybe just more money. I was thinking about things that I was stressed about.
Yeah.
And that I'm dealing with, because at Kroger I was making shit. Oh my God, it was scraps.
Yeah. See, he used to work at Kroger, so we can talk about Kroger all we want. And also fuck Kroger.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely.
Fuck Kroger.
They don't give a shit about people.
Dude,
they don't.
I even found out from one of my friends that as soon as I left, they started talking about me talking behind my back.
No, it's weird that the employees would attack other employees. You would think
Right.
that they would attack the source of the pain and misery, which is the people
Right.
that are controlling these rules and shit where that
Exactly.
make no sense. It's like you,
Exactly.
and they don't even give a fuck about you
Yeah.
or anyone. Like that's it.
So she goes, okay, about she's like, okay, and so she starts doing her prayer and everything, and it was real. And even though she mentioned the things that I mentioned, she was just like, she goes, well, I guess overall, just make his life better. And I thought that was kind of touching because
It's vague and to the
Right,
vague and
right.
to the point at the same time.
exactly. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, thank you very much.
Cool.
And then that was like a good year before I ended up getting this new job that I have now. So I can understand it wasn't like sudden, and it wasn't like, because you would think you'd pray for something and then it appears,
It miraculously happens, sure.
right, or not
Yeah.
that, or just something lines up to where it will
Yeah.
happen immediately or close to when you prayed for it or whatever. But this was like an entirely different year, and I was just having a bad time here. But really, the only thing I noticed different was I need to get out of here. And I realized the different obstacles I was going through. Where my mom's like, "Oh well, you don't need to leave Kroger. You've got the the union with you, and so they'll back you up. Because she was afraid if I went to any other job,
No reason to change what
I-
you're doing. You're fine where you're at.
I
You don't need to
well, no,
improve.
her thing was if I moved to a different job without a union, I'd be more likely to be fired.
Well,
And it was just like, well, I've
that's a
been-
lack of what do you call it?
I've been great at
Support.
right, and I
Yeah.
was like, that doesn't make sense because I've been great at
Yeah.
most of my jobs. Yeah, I've been fired from one, but it was first like not a.
Where'd you get fired from?
Oh god.
If you say McDonald's, I feel
No.
like everyone's
No,
going.
I
I've never worked at McDonald's,
no,
but I feel like everyone.
quit McDonald's after 2 weeks.
Everyone I know.
I quit McDonald's. It was just like,
Everyone I know that has worked at a McDonald's, whether it
But
be
I got
quit or fired, it always ends that way. They're like, "Not fuck this shit."
Yeah, so it was a cleaning job I had. So it was after I left Meyer, and I was looking for a job. They treated me terribly. It got to the point to where I would intentionally not show up to work one day out of the week, and I'd just call out.
Just because it was so like
Yeah. I'd be like, no,
you just weren't having it.
right.
Yeah.
And so I was
that's
like,
not healthy, man. That's
Right.
bad. That's scary.
it got to that point, and so I eventually quit. And
Good.
then I found this cleaning job where I was being paid like $15 an hour to I was cleaning commercial property basically, and some residential I was going to do. But what happened was apparently with the commercial property I was doing well because I ended up getting a raise like my first month being there, and I was then making like $15.50 or $16, something like that. Just to go over there and clean this one area, you'd get like 8 to 10 hours to do it. You could take your break when you want to. You had a system down and everything. And I thought I was doing okay. I kept getting good reports. And then he just said he noticed these little things that I was missing that eventually built up over time. And that made the place not look as well as it did. And so then he was just like, because this is our biggest client, we're going to have to let you go.
So instead of just telling you every time something happened, like, hey, right away, just, kind of like
Right.
our job, I think they do really well, except for one exception when I didn't know I was doing something wrong and they gave me a final warning, which turned out fine.
Right.
But essentially, our job, you screw up, they will tell you while you're on the phone.
Right.
They will be like, hey, you're talking to this client right now? No. Don't do that, do
Right.
this. And it's
Right.
like, oh, thank you. And it's not an hostility, it's not
But
intended to scare you.
every job I've had, you do
But
something.
every other job, you do something wrong. For me,
Right.
I've gotten that same experience where it's like, I've only been fired once. And I never learned why.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to guess, alcoholism,
Oh, maybe.
maybe. I don't know.
You think? You think from Kroger?
This is
Wait,
no, not Kroger. This isn't that Kroger bullshit.
Okay.
Definitely not that. No, this is back in California. I worked for a deli and everyone loved me and blah blah blah. But this is back when I was kind of new to the bottle, and I was going through like 3 bottles of wine. I was sneaking it everywhere I could. I was gonna tell you earlier. You were talking about college and waking up drunk and shit, dude. I was so bad that. Oh man, I hope my parents never hear this podcast. Well, who cares? It was in the past. It was
Right.
more than 10 years ago. I mean, who cares? And I've learned from, but I was sneaking into class. I would,
Okay.
and the funny thing is, I'm sure all of my professors, everyone,
Yeah, everyone knew.
I'm sure everyone knew because it was wine, and wine has
Now,
a very
here's the
potent
thing.
smell. And here's the thing: a girl that I really hung out with and liked, I actually liked her, but also I just liked her. Like we were good friends. I have a feeling though that she was using me for the wine.
Oh.
Because once we both graduated, after the day of graduation, I never heard from her again, and I was so sad. She was so cool. But hey, whatever, that's all good. But I have a feeling that everyone knew, and I feel like, okay, well, Anthony's so good at being an alcoholic that, like what can they do? I'm not breaking any laws.
Right.
I'm not being disruptive.
Exactly.
I'm just drinking.
Right.
So as I think everyone knew, and I just think about that and how embarrassing that is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, think about it. Everyone that I looked up to, everyone that I studied from and learned from, they all knew my problem.
Right. So, mine wasn't really like a
Well, mine's bad. Yeah, yours.
mine-
I'm sorry. I'm not
mine-
trying to compare me to you. I'm bad. I was bad.
So mine wasn't a problem, but I realized in psychology class I learned better when I was stoned. Just that class, and I was surprised. Well, I was kind of just surprised, but anyway, I
don't
guess
know what it is, but I agree.
I guess
with
for most of the semester I was doing that because I was getting really good grades in that class, and then
cool.
someone
Well, also, could you also just consider you enjoyed the content?
True, yeah, it was interesting as well, and so
when I go back to school, I can't wait.
It was funny. This girl who was sitting right next to me, she one day she goes, you know, I'm telling her about one of the days in class, and she goes, I thought you were drunk, and I'm like, no, I've never been drunk in this class. I smoked a little bit.
I like no. You just said I've never been drunk in this class. I like that you said that.
Not in.
No, I got you.
But,
It was just funny that in this class I've never been drunk in this class.
I've never been drunk or high when I went to college taking class. It was just this one class that
you were just like, oh, it works.
It works because I noticed my grades were improving in that class too. Like it was a total. Basically, what would happen is I'd only smoke like a one-hitter amount, like a little bit. Go in.
And by the way, that's what I'm noticing about this. I gotta stop hitting it so much. I know when the lights blink, it means you're good. Right. No, cut out before, like halfway before.
For this specific class, anytime we do a lecture, so just she'd sit down, give us a lecture about the information, whatever. I would be slightly stoned in that class, and then when it was test day, I was always sober when I took the test, and I realized my test scores went from I started at like a C, all right, and when I started smoking and being in class, it went up to like a B plus. Actually, no, an A.
I'm just gonna look at you.
No, actually an A because what happened was I got a C on the final and it brought my grade down to a B plus. But I had an A in that class.
What does it look like when you look at the camera? Hey, what up? All right, so I just want to, because I just saw the time. I was like, oh, you know what? We probably should get ready soon.
Oh yeah.
But let's go ahead. I got the 12 steps up. I've never told you what I believe, yes or no. Mm-hmm. I think. Well, who cares what I think? I want to know what you think.
Okay.
Because you always need. I'm trying to improve.
Right.
I need to know.
Yeah. No. Just go.
Yeah. Everything where it says God, by the way, we're going to change to, we don't need to even say Jacob. It's just the concept of something bigger than you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of God in here, and I understand that. When this was actually invented, I mean, God.
Well, here's how even intervention was started. They would use.
Have you ever seen the movie where it was the invention of the 12-step program? And they had a meeting in this dude's living room, and the wife was supportive of it. And it was like the guy that started it was being like slandered about it. Man, that is something. So I've been thinking about that before we did this podcast. I was like, I'd love to go back and figure out because we had to watch it when I got my DUI. Mm-hmm. We had to watch that whole movie. But it was a really, really good movie. It was very, it was a historical, it was fictional, but it was, based on totally true events.
Gotcha.
All right, so, me, myself, and Jacob, all right, I'll be serious, I'm sorry. All right, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, and our lives had become unmanageable.
Okay.
Do you think I Do you think that I admitted that I was powerless over alcohol and that my life has become unmanageable?
Yeah.
When do you think you saw that?
I mean, when you were hallucinating.
I think that really, yeah.
And I think also partly in Kroger. I'm not saying it did, but it affected it enough to where when they were doing something, they're like, oh, well, this guy's an alcoholic.
No, this guy's clearly drunk. Even though I wasn't, it was like, oh, no, he's an alcoholic. And yeah, no, you're right. And it totally, thank you. Okay, so yes. Number 2, came to believe that a power greater than myself could restore my sanity.
Yeah.
And what did I do?
You did just that.
Who is it?
Jacob.
Yep. I don't believe in saying the word God. God gives power to a concept that is organized and has rules. I think there's something going on. I don't know if it's an entity or energy, which you love to talk about. I don't know what it is. I know there's something going on bigger than me.
I've noticed that. See, I've never had that God interaction. Like, I've prayed a couple times before. I tried it.
I used to try it. You know what I mean? My mom would always say.
But I kept hearing. Try to have this relationship with him, and so I did try that, and it just was like okay. And I noticed things didn't really change until I took an approach.
Yes.
Until I did something.
I agree.
It wasn't like.
My mom says if you ask God for something, they'll listen. Sure, they'll listen. Maybe whatever. But I don't even know. But you need to do shit.
How this is saying, you, in my belief, you need to get your.
It's almost like a support team.
You need to get your intention out to the universe, but then also before the universe does it, you have to change to match the vibration of what you want. So if
you say vibration, I say yeah. If you want to do something, take the steps that go toward that direction. And if you're saying, hey, Jacob, listen to me for a second. Can you just help me out? Dude, for real. If I have that weird feeling where today's going to be a bad day at work or an off day or whatever, I'll just be like, yo, Jacob. And I don't know if you heard me earlier. I don't think you did. But when I was trying to nap, and I can't nap. That's not something I'm very good. You just saw that. You tried to wake me up, and what happened? I slept through it.
Right.
Luckily, something, I don't know. I don't remember whatever it was, you or an alarm or whatever.
Well, was your phone on your bed? Cause
it was right next to my fucking ear.
Oh, well, that's probably woke you up.
So was it you? Was it you?
Because I heard your phone really loud through the door.
Okay, yeah. So before I went to sleep, I said, and this is my quote-unquote relationship, and it's not quote-unquote. This is my relationship with what I call Jacob. I said, I was just like, I wasn't even looking at my ceiling or anything, that whole heaven hell thing. Who cares? That's a religion. But I'm just staring at my wall and I'm like, Jacob. And just for fun, I was like, Jacob, listen. And I was like, I wonder if Ben heard me just say that. Because it would be a little awkward. He doesn't understand. I hope you know I talk to myself all the time. That's how I think. I think out loud. So I'm not crazy. There's no one there. I'm not talking to someone. Mm-hmm. I'm just thinking out loud. Right. You're going to live with me, and you will quickly learn that you're going to be very entertained. That's all I'm going to say. Or annoyed. It'll go either way. So, just prepare yourself. I'll try to stop if you want me to. But anyway, so there's Jacob. And yeah, so as far as number 2, came to believe a higher power greater than ourselves. See, and that's the thing. Higher power greater than ourselves. It doesn't matter if it's a name or a God or whatever. Something bigger than you or me.
Right.
Is going on. And that could be life. Hello? You're not the center of attention. That's what it's saying.
Right.
You are not... Okay. So thank you. Yes to number 2. So that's 2 out of 12 so far. I like this. Made a decision to turn our will, so my will, and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. See, this is where it gets weird. Like that one. Okay, how would you interpret that? Like if we weren't speaking about God. Because I don't talk about God.
Well, said you over...
It says, made a decision. Like I decided to turn my will and my life over to the care of God. So I'm giving myself to a higher. I'm giving myself to a higher power.
What that means is entirely.
Entirely, so, like I have no. So I'd say no to. Oh, sorry.
So that would be like I'm devoting my life, everything, who I am.
Yep.
to God.
To something. To something.
Well,
bigger than me.
Right.
Right, by that definition,
right.
bigger than me. They're now
something
using
bigger.
God, but something bigger than me, I'm now devoting
Right.
my existence to.
I wouldn't say I've devoted my existence to spirituality per se. I just
Right? It's a part of you.
yeah. It's like just.
So for me, you would agree, no.
For me, it's just a tool in my toolbox.
Right, so we both agree, no. I did not devote my life to.
Right.
I didn't. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't devote my life to anything. There's too much shit going on.
For me, it's like I can decide when I want to use it.
That's called codependency. I'm sorry. They should probably get rid of
for me,
that step.
For me, it's interesting. I realized how my brain is wired. When I learn something like that and I apply it to my life, I have this innate ability to be like, yeah, I know I can do this. I've learned how to do this. It's helped my life. But then I can just turn it off right then and there and be like, okay, you know what? I'm done doing this for right now. I'm saving it for later.
You know, it's funny. It's you say that. When they say it's like riding a bike, which is true. I stopped playing Hearthstone 6 years ago. Picked it up a couple months ago, and I'm ranked higher now than I ever was back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I know their rank system's a little different, but I'm still, comparatively ranked higher than I ever got.
Well, like when I.
But you just pick it up.
Well, when I get my bike back, like I'll just start driving.
Oh my God! You're gonna have to do a little refresher right around the neighborhood, maybe.
Yeah, that'll be instant. Because what I'll
yeah.
probably do is be like, all right, I'm just gonna ride around the neighborhood. Then ride around the neighborhood for what, 10 minutes? And
yeah.
Because I'll just have to get readjusted to how it works, and because I got to the point to where I could go really fast on it, and if I needed to stop immediately, I could be like, so I'd have fun on my joyrides because it'd be. No, because there'd be a bunch of space in between me and the cars. So I'd be like, okay, I can do this coast back, do that. And then if I needed to,
Yeah, I got you. What was I going to say? Oh, shit. No, it was a good thought. Damn it, thought bubble. I forgot. See, this is why we have thought bubbles. They said, what is this podcast about? How about the fact that we always forget what the hell we're thinking, but we have some good thoughts every now and then.
So we were on number...
Oh yeah,
3.
3. So 3. No, I do not devote my life to anything above now.
You use it.
I use it
when you want
toolbox.
Yeah, toolbox.
Yeah. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of myself. Chickadee checked myself before I wrecked myself.
Yeah, you did that.
Thank you very much. How?
Well, I mean, you had to take inventory of what you were doing. Let's start there, and then slowly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would have tracked it like I did, you would have been done within a month. But I could tell with you had to do it in your own way, but also by doing it in your own way, you did get sidetracked because I felt like it took a little longer.
You did say that. I always thought that was funny because I told you, I was like, dude, it's alcoholism. You can't just make it disappear. But you did say, well, I felt like it. Yeah, I was doing it myself. I mean,
But because I remember you brought up the conversation as well. You're like, well, I remember you telling me, or you told me that you remember me telling you that, I asked you how do you measure your alcohol, and then how many of those units that you would, consume.
How I broke it up.
A day. And then you're like, well, let's do it by week. I said, fine, by week. And then I was like, okay, well, if you do it by day, let's say you had 10 shots a day, okay? Equivalent to. Then I could be like, all right, well, your first week starting this, go ahead and have your 10 shots a day. But this is your last week, you're going to have those 10 shots a day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next week, take it down to 9 or 8, and then see.
You know what's funny is you actually are the person that really got me weaning myself off. Because you did that after you fucked up, right?
I never had to wean off of it.
No.
Oh.
After you had your little experience, then you helped me, correct? So to speak.
Not really.
Was the timeline, did you break my wall before or after you fixing me?
Oh, a little bit of both. Because you were... Here's how I'll describe it.
Either I was hallucinating before you broke the wall.
It was before.
So here's the thing. I thought so. I would not have recognized your actions as, okay, get the fuck away, like, get out of my house. I would not have, if I was still drinking, I would have been like, oh yeah, man, he was just fucked up, you know what I mean? Like, oh, it's all good.
Right.
But I had a different lens on, and so I think at some point I also did realize, well, if I can fuck up, he can fuck up too, right? Like, so at some point you were destined. The fact that you cared so much that you were destined to come back into my life and mine into yours. But my point is, you were really the one that got me weaning off of vodka, off of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else can say whatever they want, and the funny thing is, Brandy tries to take the most credit for it, simply because I had a crush on her, and she said, "I don't like talking to you when you're drunk. Stop doing this." Stop doing this. And I was like, "Oh no, I better not do this around Brandy." But she saw it as I fixed Anthony. No, I just wasn't drinking around you, or maybe I was pretending to be. So, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
But what you did, you were like, okay, let's look at what you're doing.
Right.
What can we do next week?
Right.
You know? So when I disowned her after all of that disaster, because I am getting rid of all the people that just are harmful to me. Like, if they're vibrant and successful in someone else's life or their own, great.
Right.
But they are not good for me. So when I got rid of Brandy, she responded, as I figured she would. I was the one that made you stop drinking. It was because of me that this and that, blah, blah. And like
She
17.
She was just the annoying one.
So everyone hated her, by the way. I was like, even...
Oh, wait, hey, we got two coined phrase. We call John the sober one.
John's the sober one. Okay.
And then we have the annoying one.
Okay, now we have the annoying one. And then we have Sluggy Dougie.
Sluggy Dougie.
And then let's see, how about Flamboyant? F for Flamboyant? We'll call him F for Flamboyant because his name is Finley.
Yeah.
F for Flamboyant.
Yeah, that's
his whole title. F space for Flamboyant.
That was really funny for Cards Against Humanity when he I think it was someone else read the card that he played or no, someone else played, and it was like really gay. I think it was like three men or something like it had to do with three men, and he just blurted out this like real random but it was just as soon as he heard it, he goes, "Oh." Oh yeah,
it was like oh.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh. and it's
we all looked directly at him before we said anything, and we just go,
Gay.
"Oh." No.
Yeah, oh.
Yeah, we did the exact same back. We're just like, "Oh." And then he was just
no, but what's cool about Finley is even though he's new to the whole like being outed
right.
as not outed,
being
coming out as gay, the fact that like when we were all hanging out, first of all, you're right, we did have fun. I'm so glad that we did that.
It was
It was new. It was different.
It was a big difference because when I noticed when I noticed that.
By the way, when you just said that, you went blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Your mouth, your hand. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh.
Just saying, that's what you just did. I'm just. He is bisexual, so. And bisexual, yeah, he likes it all. I mean, nothing wrong with that.
Anyway. So I noticed, like, whenever we'd hang out with Michael, whenever we'd hang out with Zach, and it would be in the same room, we'd play cards.
Well, even separately.
Or separately, but mainly when we were all playing cards or whatever, and just hanging out, I noticed that you and I were the only ones who were, like, there to... Involved? Like, yeah, we were there to have
engaged.
fun.
Engaged.
And we were wanting to have fun, and we'd always have to try to convince Michael to stop being a sourpuss, or how do you want to put it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he would seem like he's having fun, but he would put everyone down.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I've had a day at Kroger. I don't want to fucking,
I came here to have fun.
Because, this was even before he worked at Kroger, before I got him a job there.
Oh, what?
And then,
what?
And then he tried, he tries to tell me jokingly that, intentionally I wouldn't take out the trash just so you'd do it.
No, and I told you that, so that verifies and that I told you that too. I was like, he told me that he made you, like, work hard just for the fuck of it.
It's like, I got you that job because you said you needed
help. So you want to know the big
then,
difference between a sociopath and a psychopath? By the way, it's not borderline personality. He's a sociopath.
Yeah.
Psychopath doesn't have the ability to care. A sociopath. A sociopath, which a lot of people accuse me of. And I'm not gonna lie, I do have some sociopathic tendencies, but that also comes with empathy, and it comes with I am not a sociopath. I have sociopathic tendencies.
You're not to that degree.
Exactly. I have some of those qualifications.
You're on the spectrum.
I'm on the I like it. I'm on the spectrum. You did not like that when they switched it.
Yeah, I did not because the emphasis they put on
the F word.
the emphasis they put on, having autism.
I'm not gonna lie. So I'm very high right now.
I
feel really good.
They're different. They
incoherent.
They really are. But really, all it is, if you were to put them on a spectrum, Asperger's is more on the low end.
Well, that was the whole point. That was the whole point.
But I'm saying when it changed, I was just like,
you didn't like.
They had two.
You got defensive about it because you were like, God damn it, no.
Right.
I'm down here, motherfucker. I'm not over here. Right. I'm down here. But that's not it's not like they were like, you know what? Let's design something that bothers this dude
when it changed, and I was younger, I thought that, but now it's just like it just makes sense.
You're young, yeah.
We're all on the spectrum.
Okay, so real quick, the sociopath and psychopath. Yeah. Psychopath doesn't have the ability to care.
Right.
A sociopath
cares too much.
No.
Well.
Cares, but about themselves, and so they use that to manipulate. So okay. Zach accidentally manipulates everyone around him because he's just so But Michael,
if he didn't have autism, he would be like,
ooh, he could be more of a sociopath.
Right.
He would be like, let's use this to my advantage. If he was smart,
Exactly.
Whereas Michael knows what he's doing. Right. And does everything to get what he wants.
Exactly.
So he would be so I was wrong. It's not borderline personality disorder. He is a sociopath. And it actually took me 2 episodes of Stargate and a podcast / just so you know, I do some research. I am not a doctor, but I read an article and then watched a podcast from, of course, my god, Dr. Drew. Right. And I was like, shit, dude, yeah, Michael's a sociopath. That makes sense. Like, he's trying to cause harm to others to get what he wants. Like, he doesn't care. But he knows what he's doing. Like, he's smart. Sociopaths are smart. Right. So, like I've always said, that dude has potential.
But I noticed that whenever they were in the room, Michael would attend and he would be present and he would...
But it would always be a battle.
Right. Or it would always be about him. And so we're sitting here and we're like, we just want to play fucking cards. And the only,
you and I would be thinking, can we just have fun?
Right. And the only game he'd want to play is like his games. Like, yeah, he mentioned Mao, it was fun.
Or watch his shows or play his video games.
We played Mao so much, we're just like...
You guys did. I love that game. I could play that forever and ever. But he didn't make it fun. He did make it negative.
Right. Because what would happen is you two would fight. And then Zach and I would be sitting here like, yeah, I came here to watch this. Okay, let's just all go to bed.
Well, no, and then there's Zach, who's just like, he relentlessly what is it?
But even when Michael didn't come over...
Reluctant. He's relentlessly reluctant. Like, he just doesn't want to be there, ever.
Yeah, because even when Michael wasn't there and it was just us three...
Yeah, he would say it's because of... Oh, no, he would always tell me... So this is what, just so you know, Zach would always tell me, this is how petty all of this shit is. Right. Well, is Ben gonna be there? And I was like... Yes, dude, it's a 4-player game. Why do you care? What has... And again, I got so intense with him. I was like, what the fuck has he done to you?
And then when he told me, it was all petty shit, that stuff I did.
There was nothing... What he told you, I just sat there like, really? What? That's what this is like? Yeah. You jealous little fuck. Like,
but also, I remember...
He burned a bridge over what?
Nothing. It was apparently the times he thought I mistreated him, I recognized those when it happened, and I even remember apologizing to him or doing something to reconcile it, and then he said we were good. I'm like, okay, we're good. We moved on. And then he doesn't bring it up until X amount of years later, and then at that point I was just like, so you're telling me you're not my friend anymore because of this? This makes no
but
sense.
That's what bothers me the most is I kept telling you. I was like, dude, you misunderstand, and it's like your brain still is locked in that thought of we're no longer friends. What I kept telling you, and I know you know it, but your brain still isn't letting you say it. I said, Zach, you never saw him as a friend, did you?
Right, and he said...
And he said, he agreed.
Yeah.
He agreed.
Yeah.
And so your brain is still processing like, oh, we used to be friends. No, man.
Well, right.
That guy doesn't give a fuck.
But I was thinking to myself, I was just like, so if
You know,
if this has
he
been,
has us on YouTube.
yeah, I know. So
and he gets notified every time we have a podcast. He hasn't seen a single one. He lived with me, and he's
okay.
never...
Well, he watched the first one, and then
we made him watch the first one.
But then I remember him telling me, he's like, "Yeah, I'm starting to watch these." But then right after that, that's when you.
No, he didn't. Yeah.
Well, he told me that, but.
Oh no, I'm saying, but he didn't. I can tell you he didn't.
But then after
I've asked him questions.
After you guys had a falling out, then it has been nothing. But I remember him telling me, he's like, "Yeah, I'm thinking." He was like, "I'm thinking about it, or I'm listening to it more." It could have been a lie.
It was a lie. Come on.
No.
Everything he said was a lie.
Right.
That's the problem.
But when he told
say
me,
what they want to hear. That was you still can't accept that. Go ahead.
I'm explaining. When he told me that we were like, from what I thought we were no longer friends, and when I found out we weren't friends at all, I was thinking back and I was like, well, all these times I would go out of my way to hang out with him, or I would convince him to hang out with me. That makes so much sense now. And so when I guess Michael's not friends with him, but Michael was doing the same thing. He would befriend him and try to hang out with him, and every time he'd talk to him, it'd be like, "Oh no, I'm tired. Oh no, this. Oh no, that." Mm-hmm. But then the times.
Oh, with me too, dude. I live right next to you. You know what I mean? Like you're living with me. You're not tired.
This was before.
You're not sleeping.
This was before he moved in with you, even.
Oh, but I'm saying he still.
But right, and even at his parents, I'd be like, "Hey, can I come over and hang out with you? Like, come on, I'm free. You're free.
No,
you're not working."
here, just so that because we're getting viewers and then losing viewers.
So,
I just want to say real quick that the reason we're talking about this, I don't know why I keep falling for that. The reason we're talking about this is how fascinating psychopathy is, because I've never seen it before, but now we're both like kind of learning about it.
So
yeah,
I'll get to this. So,
and this person I lived with for almost 2 years, had it under the roof the whole time.
Has been doing this to doing this to his friends for many years.
Friends.
Yeah,
even he doesn't see them as it's tools. We are tools for his existence.
What I'm saying is, my status with right now, I'm no longer his friend. Yeah. I don't give a shit about.
Oh, he lost everything.
But what I'm saying is, back then when we were friends, like during this time, he was able to.
Or when you believed.
Right. When I believed.
Get it in your head, my friend. I love you. I don't want you to get that confusing thought in your head.
When I believed that he was my friend, I was just amazed how I would go out of my way to try to hang out with him, but we would hang out, and then we'd have a good time. Nothing would seem like there was a reason why he wouldn't like me, and then it was just like, yeah, maybe he was just using me. He was like, oh, he wants to hang out. I feel like shit. I'm just gonna go ahead and invite him over, and then maybe he puts on his little face where he's actually enjoyed with this, but he's like he's company. We smoke or we hang out. Or I just want someone here. I don't know, but that's why I couldn't. In my head, I was like, I can't really think of a way he would be using me. But then, as I was thinking about times where we got more comfortable, and I was allowing him to stay over at a hotel that I bought just for me. Like I was planning on just to go there by myself, have my own TV, have my own room, no one there, and I was just gonna like.
Now it's a double instead of a single.
Now it's like, and then I ended up inviting Zach and Michael over, and we just all ended up partying that night.
Man, we picked bad friends.
Yeah, knowing that now, yeah.
What the hell was I doing, dude? I had no choice. I don't know anyone in Indiana.
Right, but see, this all stemmed from college, high school, because I never really had. I had friends, but I had a hard time making friends, or a lot of friends in high school, and so that really hurt me throughout the years. And so the friends I found were basically Zach, who I knew for a long time. I just knew him, and we ended up reconnecting. And then it was Michael through Zach, and I thought Michael was okay, but it's like we never really hang out, and it's been like that for years. Until he started coming here.
I got one question real quick. And by the way, let's finish this and then let's go out. Let's go have fun.
Okay.
We'll wrap it up with talking about going out for the first time in a long time. Really going out. Actually going out. But we'll see.
Right.
We'll see. I hate that anticipation where you're like, all right, man, let's do this, and then you go out and nothing happens, and it's like, all right, well.
Right.
That's why I say no expectations. But you said Zach. No. you know Michael through Zach.
Yeah.
Why did Michael stay friends with Zach? They don't like you. Or sorry, Michael doesn't. Michael hates Zach.
I don't know.
Maybe it's fuel for his like fun.
Maybe.
I think he really does like having relationships to enjoy
the drama.
the drama,
Yeah.
the stories, the drama, the
Right.
you know, like the. I think that's a part of his personality. Like I think he loves it. I really do. I'm not gonna lie. I like it.
Right.
I don't like being a part of drama,
No.
but I love witnessing it.
Right.
Definitely. But all right, so made searching for okay, so searching and fearless moral inventory of myself. Yes, definitely. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to other human being. Again, I didn't write this, but the exact nature of our wrongs. Okay, so yeah. Okay, what they're saying is, have I admitted to Jacob and you, my family, my friends, my everyone, have I told you how fucked up I have been?
Yeah.
Can I ask you something? What? On a scale from 1 to 10, as vague as the question this is, and this is a serious question, how good of a person am I? 10 being really good, 0 being fuck off.
I'd have to say an 8. Like, but if you're thinking 10 is like really good, like we all have our
10 being, that's a good point. What's the baseline? 10 being, 0 being fuck off, like Michael and Zach. For me, maybe not for you. You apparently still stick with Michael, which is fine. But 10 being, this is someone I want to have in my life forever. Not sexually. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, hey, I mean, no, I'm just kidding. But like, no, it's someone where it's like I will benefit myself, whatever. Like a person that I don't know. What would your okay? No, you know what? Better question. If you were to judge yourself, and you're like, okay, 0 is what would be okay? Here's 0 to 10. 0 being what? What is your 0? What's your 0? This is a good question. I like this. This is fun.
I would say just
Thought Bubble Podcast.
I would say just doesn't really care. Very. They don't want to contribute to anything.
So we can put Zach as maybe a defining like
0. Yeah.
0. Okay, so we have a baseline for 0.
For me, it's like the reason why it was so shocking was because he went from like
what you would think
an 8 or 9 to like a 0.
What you'd think is a
right.
Someone
Exactly.
who hugged me when I was crying
right.
And he even told me I hate these words, dude. And Brandy said this one time too, and I these words kill me. By the way, don't ever say this to anyone. I mean, if you care about this person, never say this. Quote unquote, I said what I thought you wanted to hear.
You're quoting that from
Zach and Brandy. I said what I thought you wanted to hear.
Oh.
So what you're saying is, you did not give one single fuck. You wanted me to shut up about my problems, and you said what I thought, or sorry, I said. Wait.
They said what they thought you needed to hear.
And that.
So that just proves that
Neither of them care, man.
Right.
And I already had suspicions about Brandy, but like she's so brilliant, you know. She really is, but she's been so traumatized, and God, it really truly hurts me to think about. See, like I can see, you know, that's why I love having friends. Period. I know that's just a stupid statement. I love having friends because friends will always be there for you. They don't necessarily say the things that they say the things that you think, again, in a nice way, that they think you want to hear, but in a good way.
Right.
Like, let's support this guy. Let's make him feel better. Same with a psychopath, though. Let's say what they want to hear, but for a different reason.
Right.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And that's what one of my my thought bubble Snapchats with me.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about how similar empathy and psychopathy are.
Yeah.
Both are really it's first of all, everything's self-preservation, but well, I just gave you an example. I don't know, I'm just kind of like little in it, and like I just had a little realization that like you go around and you look for friends, and I'm in a new place. I have no one.
Right.
And I find Brandy online, and she's over in Canada, but we still, she's, like I said, brilliant. But she has a lot of issues, and it's like it wasn't panning out, so I had to tell her, like, hey, I wish the best. I said everything nice, and then she just, 17 messages was just like, oh, you piece of shit, like, you've used me, and,
right.
and I've done I've changed you, like, I made you sober, I did, and it's like, all right, look, you did contribute, but, like, look at what you're doing right now. Right. This isn't normal. Right. And so that was sad. And then there was Zach, which how much effort no one's ever seen me that angry before. I wasn't proud of that at all. But I cared so much, and this is on me. I cared so much about him for 2 years, about 2 years. Yeah. Where it was just in the whole. I didn't even know the whole time he didn't care. If I would have known he didn't care, it would have been like, all right, we'll just pay your. I would have been like, just pay your rent. Right. You know what I mean? It would have just been that simple. Fine, pay your rent. I'm not, but I devoted.
But like he wouldn't even do that, even.
And then he broke my mom's heart. He blasphemed. See, my mom is very religious, and he blasphemed God to my mother, who is very religious, and said, I swear to God. Well, I can't remember. It was very, exaggerated, like...
I would pay rent, yeah.
I will pay the rent by the end of the week. Now, even me and my mom, we were like, all right, well, what's the end of the week? Like, Saturday, Friday, Sunday. And fine. So Friday comes, no rent. Saturday comes, no rent.
All right, Sunday. Mm-hmm.
Sunday comes, it's like, all right, man, well, I mean, technically, it's the next
More
week.
than a week, yeah.
And then it became fact that, like, dude, so...
He was already mentally moved out.
Oh, no. He snuck away that Friday and disappeared. But the thing is, when he lied to my mom, it's like, okay, look, you've heard my stories of my weird life. Right. I've dealt with shit. I can handle myself. I'm a cockroach. Not the best, choice of. I'm a survivor. Like, in all the bullshit that I find myself in, whether it's my fault or, and a lot of it is my fault, but my fault or just life happens, Right. I survive, and I do. I mean, but.
Yeah, that was having that mentality too. Like, that was me growing up. It got to the point to where that was my normal.
You felt like you had to?
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
Like, I felt like I had to do things.
We both had very, for me, pre-adoption, but for you, whole childhood, bad childhoods.
Right.
Very traumatic, very fucked up.
I mean, not. I wouldn't say.
Yours, dude, I'm sorry, but the fact that your mom doesn't believe in you.
Yeah, that was the big thing.
That's huge.
Right, I know that, but what I'm saying is, like, I never had. It wasn't like an abusive or.
By the way, we just had two people pop on and disappear. If you guys want to talk, say something.
I never had.
We are interactive. We exist.
I never had like, an abusive relationship with my parents. Never. It's never been like that. I would say now that I'm older and I know my mom's point of view. It's kind of just like, that makes sense. I need to get out of here. Like,
she didn't have to.
Like, yeah, like even though I could tell she was probably joking from when she told you that when you guys had that.
I knew you were talking about that. Can you tell them what?
So
my first time I ever.
Yeah.
If
so
you want to.
I was.
You already brought it up.
Yeah, I was moving my stuff out, or some of my stuff out from my room, and so it was all downstairs. I'm getting it, out to the car, and then Anthony walks in and says hello because they've never met each other. And I pop in. I'm like, oh yeah, this is Anthony. Hold on, don't mind me. I'm getting my shit. And so you guys are talking, and Anthony asks her, goes, well, he was obviously kidding, but he's like, aren't you glad that I'm taking your son from you, or something like that?
I said, aren't you? No, what did I say?
You said something like
aren't
that.
Aren't you glad that your son's finally moving out or something like that?
Right.
Just like, hey man,
And then she's just like, she goes, yeah. She said, she goes, yeah, just take him.
No, she said, I wish it would have been sooner.
No,
she said, I wish it would have been sooner, and I immediately was like, okay, and so I kind of played it off like, and then you were uncomfortable.
Yeah. And then
you were behind me, and you were like, yeah, we would have done, like, you were like, all right, let's, ground control, crowd control, sorry. Yeah, we would have done it sooner, but, someone wouldn't have left, and then we're talking about Zach, like, exactly. Yeah, like, get the fuck out. But,
yeah, it was just like...
It was an awkward...
I froze, because she probably didn't think I was hearing her, because I was moving in and out, but I knew I stopped at the right time, because...
I just don't... As a mother, you know what I mean?
Like, I heard
she's your birth mother?
Yeah. I heard it, and I was just like, oh, okay. Nice to know you.
Well, I'm happy to have you here. If that matters at all.
I'm glad I'm moving out. Just,
I know that's the mood. To you, it's like, I don't give a shit if it's Anthony. I'm gone. I'm done with my mother. Fuck this shit.
Right.
Yeah. No, I understand that. Like, totally. Like, you have a very... You think about it. She was literally just constantly, like, bitch slapping you. She was like, nope, stay at Kroger. No, you're worthless. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep saying... I'm sorry. I don't like it. I just don't like hearing every fucking story you tell me about your mother. It's like, why is she doing that?
It's so...
What does she get out of it? I wanted a daughter, so I had two other...
Here's how she's explained it. She's like, first child, I don't care what I get. And then after me, she wanted a daughter. So, like, if she had a daughter, Gabe wouldn't have been born. So it was me, boy, all right, cool. I want a daughter now, got another boy, and then third time around, got a daughter. And, like, she's basically my sister's, like, the queen of the house, so to speak. She could break into...
She the oldest?
She would break into my brother's room, take his cash.
Is she the oldest?
No, she's the youngest.
Well, she's the youngest.
But she would go to my brother's room, take his cash. My brother would find out his money's gone, and then confront her about it. She'd obviously deny it. Tell my mom about it.
Dude, we gotta hurry up.
And then all she'd have to do is tell my mom, and be like, I didn't take it, and that'd be the end of it.
Let's power through this, huh? Dude, we gotta. It's already. I mean, we're having fun. I assume I am, but it's 7:35.
Right.
All right, real quick. In your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, here we go again with God. All right, we are entirely ready to have God remove all of these defects. Yeah, I want to skip some of these. Like, what's that mean? Fine, if we can rephrase it, what does that mean?
I mean, what they're saying is, like, you want God to remove...
But fuck God. Let's take away the word God. Like, what gives the...
You want this higher power to remove...
So a higher power is going to be like, okay, Anthony, you're no longer an alcoholic?
Or no, we're going to fix you.
I don't like that. Yeah. So can we just both agree, no, I do not do that? Because I don't believe anyone else has... No.
Right.
If there's a Jacob, that motherfucker's there to observe and maybe help, maybe.
Right.
And that's an if there's Jacob, whatever Jacob may be.
Right.
I don't know. The idea of religion is just... It's fascinating. We'll go with that. I like that word. It's a safe word. Fascinating. You're getting tired or bored? I'm not sure. Let's keep going. Oh, God. Remove your defects. That's cute. All right. Humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. So this is when that prayer came in, when that customer called. He said, I want to pray for you. What can I pray for? And I said, because I had just read this shit, and I just texted you what I want to do for the podcast. And I said, well, I just learned what the word... I had to look up the word shortcomings. I was like, I just learned that or what shortcomings are. And I'd like to... What's it say? It says, humbly ask him to remove our shortcomings. And I was like, if he's going to pray for me...
Right.
Kill two birds.
Right.
I'm humbly now having someone else ask him to remove my shortcomings.
Right.
I have no idea if that worked. Maybe we'll find out tonight. I'm still kind of confused on shortcomings. But either way, whatever. I don't know. All right, now it gets a little more interesting. Made a list of all persons we harmed and became willing to make amends with all of them. I didn't make a list physically, but would you say I became willing to make amends with all of you?
Yeah. I mean...
Definitely talk to my mom forever.
Right.
Still do.
I think, yeah, you did try with Michael and Zach, but they were having their own little...
Fun.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Shortcomings that made direct amends to such people, wherever possible, except when. Oh God, I'm getting tired of reading this. I want to go out.
Yeah.
Yeah. The point is, okay, I'm just gonna speed read, and you just tell me yes or no. How's that? Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. So. I do like this one. It's like some people want to go out and be like, I hurt you, please let me fix it. Right. And they're like, dude, you fucked us up so much.
Right.
Stay away from us. That is how you help. And you're still like, no, let me do. That's what they're saying. Like, don't push it. Like,
right.
Slight touch. Just maybe no touch. Yeah, pretend touch. But, all right, cool. I mean, sure, I would say I do that, right? Yes, no?
Yeah. I get you.
Am I pushing? I mean, physically, sure. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible. No, I already read that. Continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Would you say, now I do want to give myself credit for this. When I'm wrong, I do give myself shit. Do I not?
Yeah.
Like, I'll be like, oh, fuck. Yep, you got me.
Right.
Like, there's no way out of it.
Right.
I'm not going to argue with you that, you know, I'll look it up. You know, if it's something like that, kind of like, oh, is this something I can look up? Right. Or if it's just something like, Anthony, you do this. And I'm like, oh, shit, fuck, you're right, I do that. But, like, I've never sat there like Michael and been like, nope, you're right. Oh, my God. You remember how many times we would say, no, you're wrong. And he'd say, well, prove it. Look it up. And I would.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd show it to him.
And he still would deny it.
And he would still be like, well, they're wrong too. He would actually say...
They're wrong too.
And he wasn't joking. Because I even asked him, I was like, all right, you're kidding right now, right? Do you remember when... Because you were there.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. It was a little bit further back. I said, you are kidding, right? This is when I first met him-ish. But I was like, you're kidding right now. And he's like, no, they're wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And I remember saying that too. I said, okay, I understand. Like, I understand now-ish what I'm dealing with. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, so cool, whatever. We're almost done. I think we're at 2 more. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him. Praying only for knowledge of His will and, for us and the power to care, blah, blah, blah. The point is, yeah, I every fucking morning, whether Jacob is there or not, I say, good morning, Jacob. How's your day? I mean, and then when I have an issue, if I have no one to talk to, I think what they're saying is, do you have someone to talk to even when there's no one to talk to?
Yeah. Okay.
Do you ever? I mean, in a sense, like even in internally, like not outside of...
Yeah, I would talk to myself, but like I never pretend to talk to like somebody else.
Pretend. See, and that's how I'm still conflicted by it. Like you talk about energy, and you're all.
Well, no, even before.
No. I'm saying you're confident about it.
Right.
But right there, you just said me talking to this Jacob, whatever Jacob might be. This idea of God, really, what it is for me is my idea of what God portrays.
Right.
You immediately said, "I've never pretended to talk to something or someone." So in your head, you're thinking, Anthony's pretending to talk to someone.
Well, no, I'm not.
No, I mean that's where your mind goes.
I'm
it's
saying
like to you, there's no way.
Yeah,
because there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, like, it's baffling to me.
When you mention God to me, I know cold-heartedly in my heart that, like, I've tried, I've done the things.
There's no God.
Yeah.
And to me, I think the same thing. I don't know what Jacob is.
Right.
But I know there's something going on.
When I read about spirituality, it was just like a click. It was just like, oh, this makes way more sense. Because not only does it explain what it is, but it backs it up with science.
But that's because in my head, the way I see, now I'm open to understanding, because to me it's just semantics, it's words. To me, spirituality is, and we've been over this, I think every podcast that we brought up spirituality. Spirituality is science with different words. You know what I mean? It's not religion. It's not believing in a God.
Right.
There's no higher power. It's you and you alone doing your shit. And that's very important. There's bigger things. You can call it whatever you want.
But also, like, I've even seen a bleed through when it comes to the motivational videos at work.
Oh, we're on the last one, by the way. But yeah.
And so I'm able to actually understand them more.
The what video? I'm sorry.
The motivational videos.
Oh, so you do watch those?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Because I remember one day I didn't watch it, and everyone else did, and their productivity was like well above where it used to be. Mine was kind of low because I was feeling bad that day, but I was just like, I'm not going to watch this.
So you kind of found a reason to need the video.
Yeah.
I like that because I don't discredit motivational videos.
There are times,
I just don't. You know how optimistic I am.
There are times where I come to work
and
I'm just like, fuck this. And then there's a video and I watch it. I'm like, oh, okay. And like that, the same. So last week when I set 11 sets, even though they were for all
Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it was in the middle of the week. It was like Tuesday.
Okay.
No, Thursday because it was Thursday.
Okay.
It was Thursday. It was right
damn.
after.
I'm just saying, damn.
Right after I celebrated my birthday, and then Thursday.
Whoa!
And then Thursday I had the motivation.
So this just happened.
Yeah, this just happened.
Okay.
So it was like after my birthday celebration. The next day I woke up kind of tired. I was like, okay, I'll kind of try to get through the day, and then I watched the motivational video, and then I made 11 sets that day. 8 of them were for next week, and 2 were for this week. Or, yeah.
But you're saying, so you've ran one.
But I've done it so many times. Like, I've noticed the days that I've watched those videos, I perform better than I would have.
So it's been more than one. So you have like a statistic running. Statistically speaking, of course.
Yes.
You have a statistic building in your head.
Right.
Kind of like, check this shit out. So, I talk about Hearthstone all the time. And I love it. I missed it. But I was like, I always watch the videos of people playing, and they're like, they got this thing going on where you can see like your statistics. So I built a deck myself. This means nothing to you. Trust me, a lot of people that are listening to this will understand what I'm talking about. But I built a deck myself, and when you build a deck yourself, like in any card game,
right?
Wouldn't you be proud if it wins?
Yeah.
Right? Like, fuck yeah, I built this. This is mine.
So I would do that in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like
there you go. Yes, Magic the Gathering. Hearthstone, same idea.
After my friends would get over the mechanics of the deck, and I agreed to play it, and they taught me how to play it, then I would eventually make it my own, and it worked to the point to where I placed...
I mean, you always take ideas from here and there, but the core of it is yours.
My first competition,
Oh, you actually did?
My first official Yu-Gi-Oh competition, I placed in the top 80 out of 200 people. I would have placed higher if the guy who beat me the first time didn't fuck up. So actually, if he it's weird how.
Wait, you would have won if he didn't? You mean if he?
Yeah.
What?
So the way they do it is, if let's say you have your first match and someone beats you,
like a mulligan.
They're now higher in rank than you, obviously, because you just had a match with them. They won. But then if let's say they're going through their day, and they get beat by somebody, and then let's say they get beat by another person, no matter what you get, because that first match they beat you, no matter what you would get with your score, it would affect you and you'd be lower on the ranking. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, whatever. That's just your competitiveness talk. No, that's a good. Again, that's why you're so good at our job. Is you're like me. You're competitive. I'll never forget the first time I realized, oh my God, there's something seriously wrong with Zach.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not just autism, but again, I didn't know shit about psychopathy. So
Right.
I never have even would have gone there. But it was when he was sitting right here on my bed, and he was like, what did he say? I was pointing at my work. I was like, here's how I'm doing. Look at this shit. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, why does it matter that you're in the top? Like, why do you need to be placed? Oh, I was still in training.
Oh,
and we were doing the quizzes.
The Cahoots, yeah.
Cahoots, sure. Multiple companies use Cahoots. Well, you can narrow it down with your little searches. But anyway, over 100 years old, does Cahoots. They'll figure it out eventually.
Right.
Just don't mention anything like no, you really do have to be careful of that, by the way. If it's a previous employee, who gives a shit?
Right.
But
you mean employer?
as much employer, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I had a previous employee, yeah.
He was cool.
He was cool.
I like that guy.
I like that guy, but we had to fire him.
Yeah, bye. What was I going to say? No, as much as we love our company, we can't talk about it.
Right.
No, but fuck, I can't remember what I was going to say. But check this shit out, dude. So it keeps track. Here's 40 wins, 28 losses. And it's like, and it says 59% win rate. It tells you who you lost against, who you won against, whatever,
Right.
yada, yada. So all that aside, it's like, it's just really cool to like see that I made this deck. Like here
Right.
you get a deck, and my Magic deck. I still have it back here. It's a blue, black, white deck. But you didn't play Magic, right?
No.
Yeah.
So the deck that I took to competition was actually called Cosmo Metalfoe.
Cos.
So it took two different mechanics from two different.
See, I never
decks.
played Yu-Gi-Oh, so anything you're about to tell me, I have
Put
no
them
fucking
together, but basically one would be like if they were destroyed in any way, or you did something, it would react, and you would be able to do stuff.
Death Rattle. It's like Death Rattle in Hearthstone. If it dies, it does something.
Right.
Okay.
And so then it had like your trap and spell deck that would you could have it on the field just sitting there.
Stall.
And if someone blows it up, yeah, you might have needed it, but it has an additional effect.
Yep.
So it's like you could either use it.
You would love.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried Hearthstone?
I have, yeah. It just wasn't for me.
Fuck, man. I don't. Okay, this is fine.
So
when you're done with this,
yeah. So I took that.
Stargate. We're talking about Stargate. Real
So
quick,
basically, if you
done.
were to attack me, do something, a monster would get destroyed or something. I could be able to do something. If you destroyed my traps, I could do something. And my deck was designed to where I could destroy.
It's reactive. So control. Would you like control decks? Like
I like reactive ones.
Do you control the board?
No, you just react. Literally, that's all it is. Like,
so you don't have to touch it.
So,
you're like, let me lay this shit out, and it's gonna do its own thing. You would love Rogue and Hearthstone. Or Hunter, yeah.
I could either go first and just set up.
And just that's it. You sit back and let it do its shit.
Yeah, or I could sit back and relax and see what
you're not swinging. You're not. It's just You would love. Fuck you.
And so even my traps and spells would do something, even if you blew it up, thinking that would hinder me.
Rogues are bitches.
And then I'd even throw other spells and traps.
They're good.
That are like staples that would even further put it to use. So like one would be like where if it was just in the graveyard, you could draw like 5 cards or something like that.
Yeah, and dude, the thing about if we're gonna talk about, I mean, we really should go out real quick just because we're talking about. I love strategy card games. I love card games. Anything that makes you think, like really, if you want to. And actually, I'm gonna get this out because I have a feeling you're gonna not let me get this out later. I still cannot understand how you don't love Stargate. Because the more I'm going through again, like I have a page here, so I can watch everything in chronological order, including Stargate Universe, Stargate Atlantis, Continuum, Arc of Truth. Is it too slow? Is it too old for you?
Yeah, it's too old. It's because when I was watching
Damn it! Because I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I watched like the first 2 episodes, and I was just like...
Because you can't take that away. If it's too old, it's too old.
Yeah, I noticed immediately I would watch it.
I'm older than you. So.
I would watch it and then just be on my phone. I'm like, if I'm watching something, I need to be watching it, not...
Is there any way that I could, like, maybe we get really high one night and I just, like, one episode, just, like, let's watch one episode
or maybe a later
start with Atlantis.
Okay. Yeah, like
I could kind of give you what's the word? A synopsis of, hey, here's who created the Stargate. they evolved into, whatever. Here's what Atlantis is.
Okay.
And then maybe, but the thing is, I really don't like that idea because there's so much going on that follows your mythos. So every time I'm watching an episode, I'm like, dude, if you really listen to this is exactly what Ben tells me every time he talks about spirituality or conspiracy theories or everything that you talk about. Mm-hmm. I'm so, like, part of me, I'm so frustrated. But it's like, all right, dude, if he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. Relax. But it's like, come on, there's got to be a way where I can convince him to try it. Maybe we can talk about it and get him into it. Because, dude, it's you in a TV show. Every fucking episode I watch, I'm like, Ben said this. Ben thought this. This was Ben's idea. Like, I don't...
It was probably just... The format. So if there's a later format where it's
I noticed the direction.
Yeah.
Every it depends on who's directing the episode, but I understand what you're saying, and it is before your time.
Right.
Technically, it was even no, it wasn't before my time. It was 1999. So, but it was before.
It was 1999. I was a year old. So.
Oh, so yeah, I know for a fact. I already knew it was before your time.
Because I've heard of it, but like I never watched it. And then when I watched it now, I was just like, okay.
So I understand that idea, that concept. I get that. 1997 to 2007.
Okay, so it was made.
You weren't even born.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that is before. Yeah.
It was made exactly a year.
And I was 10 years, 9 years old. Yeah. Yeah. So even I didn't, and then it was my first girlfriend ever. Her father, I love him. He was like, I think you'll like this. Because I started getting into sci-fi. And he was like, you'll like this. He had the whole 10 season on, because I was in high school. Yeah, actually this was 2007. I was in high school, or it might have been 2008. I was still with this girl, and because or shit. No, it was after. This was after. Whatever. The point is, he'd be feeding me seasons, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is sci-fi." And it was even kind of like eerie and creepy and new to me, and like it wasn't supposed to be scary, but I was scared sometimes. But it was like all these new emotions arising from sci-fi. I've never done sci-fi at this point, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love this! Like, this is awesome!"
Right.
And the science behind it, the mythology, all this shit. And again, I say, like, if there's any way, I beg of you, if there's any way I can, like I said, one episode at a time. And no, I'd say we'd have to start from the beginning, but take it very slow. Maybe watch every week we do an episode or a podcast. Maybe we just watch one episode before the podcast.
Like, sure.
I mean, we're already fucking dicking around anyway. I mean,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, and if you still, after, like, let's say after a season, you're like, sorry, dude, no. Because after a season, you will already know what's going on.
Okay.
You really will. You'll be like, I either like this and I get it, or I get it, but fuck it.
Okay.
So, like, just sparingly, without forcing it on you. Would you be down with that?
Sure.
Cool, I like it. And then, maybe we can spend 10 minutes on the podcast talking about Stargate. Look, to me, it's a show that will never die. And clearly it hasn't died for the fans either because they keep bringing it back with new shows, new spinoffs, new everything, new movies, new video games, new whatever. Final step before we go out. By the way, you said what you were going to wear. You're going to look nice. I don't know. I have no fucking clue. I need to go clothes shopping. I'm dead serious. I agree with that.
Too, yeah.
Totally, I agree with that. I definitely do. That's not what I want. Here we go. Final step. Having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, I tried, to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. That's a big, heavy fucking ask. I mean...
Yeah.
Now, definitely, I have confronted very casually, because you never want to tell someone, like, dude, don't do that. Never, even therapy. You never say, you should, if the minute, what did Dr. Drew say? The minute your therapist says you should do, run.
Right.
That's how he said it. Run.
Yeah, because they can't really
You
tell
don't.
you.
Oh, they can.
Well, yeah, but they.
But that
can't.
is not why they're there.
Right. They're not there
Yeah.
to like.
That's why we're here. We could be like, oh yeah, you should try this. Try.
They're there to give you advice and to like understand where you're coming
They
from.
want you to think about what you
right.
did not feel comfortable thinking about before. Now you're here in a safe space. Think about it. If you have questions, I'm here.
Right.
But like, chill. Don't say you should anything.
Right.
But no, I did. I remember when my friend Feeler drove home very drunk from work, and he straight up just openly was like, you know, dude, I don't care. I know the back roads. I'm just downtown in Noblesville.
Mm-hmm.
He worked at. You would know it. I can't remember. But anyway, I know all the back roads. There's no cops there. And I said, listen, dude, I can't tell you what to do. And I understand. I know that feeling of security of like, dude, I'm not going to get in trouble. I know that.
Right.
I am that person. Like, actually, I'm not anymore. Now I'm terrified.
Right.
The law got me. They won.
Right.
Yep. Terrified. Not of weed, honestly. Lived in California my whole life, like that, even in Indiana. I'm like, hey, well, I bought it at a fucking store, so cheers. But I said I can't.
Pay taxes on it.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
But I said I can't tell you what to do, but you know how I got both DUIs. You know what happened to me, and you know what happens to people. It doesn't have to be you. It could be someone else. I was like listening to all this shit. I was like, but, and he goes, you know, he does the thing that we all do. He said, I'm fine, dude. I know what I'm doing.
Right.
And it's like, all right. I understand. No, like, I understand. Like, you don't know what you're doing. You believe you know what you're doing.
Right.
But nothing I'm about to say to you matters. So it's like, okay. I wish him, you know, I hope
right.
he's fine. He's a cock. He's a survivor. He doesn't believe in banks. It's awesome. He literally stashes his money in secret places. He showed me once. I'm not gonna say anything because maybe he still uses the same whatever. But no banks. Mounds of cash hidden places. And yeah, no, I mean he's anti-bank. He doesn't believe in, you know, what they do. Whatever. He definitely he does have.
People stash it in their picture.
He knows I can't remember what he said he has. I think it was bipolar disorder. I can't remember. But he knows he has it. But he's so good with it that you would never think it. But when it gets triggered.
Mm.
It's like a whole different person, dude. It was crazy. It was. I mean, we're such good friends where it's like there's never ever been anything. We've recovered from any fight, any. Dude, we used to go hang out at his dad's house, and play Magic, and we'd always be yelling at it because we're very competitive. Him and I are just period, and so. We'd be yelling about rules, like, no, this is not happens. The order in which this happens is this, like, phases, the steps, you know? Yeah. And his dad would walk by all the time and be like, are you guys okay? Are you guys all right? Like, you guys are still friends, right? And immediately we're just like, oh, no, we're good. And then we just start yelling at each other again, you know? All right, so, yeah, as far as, I do try to talk to other people about, you know, just being healthy. That's why the podcast exists, so that's true. And do I practice the principles in all of my affairs? No, I don't practice it in all my affairs. I do still drink. I will never stop. Unless I have children and all of a sudden they're like, hey, even though I'm not ever going to be drunk again, I know that.
Right.
But if I had a wife or children that said, can you just not drink? I would stop. Because every time I had a girlfriend, whenever they said I don't like I couldn't smoke cigarettes around all of my girlfriends. First of all, that should have been a red flag. Like, okay, Anthony, maybe you should just not smoke cigarettes. But they said, do not do this around me. Mm-hmm. I did not do it around them. Some of them didn't even know I was still doing it. Some of them knew I was doing it away from them.
Right.
But the point is, for whatever reason, call it codependency or whatever, I know what I want out of life, which is children, a way to move my bloodline and my forward thinking, like what can I do after I'm dead, and I want to help people, but I'll tell you what. Whenever you were in a relationship and they told you like I don't like this, did you stop?
Yeah.
There's something about it. There's
Right.
like.
Well, I mean, it's also like, whenever I do have a family, like my wife is gonna know, straight up, hey, this is why I do
What I
this.
do and I will not change.
Right. Yeah. She will know, like, yeah, he smokes weed
You
for
smoke
this,
weed.
but he has it under control.
And you don't smoke weed. That's what we have to get used to.
Right.
We don't smoke weed.
Well, what I'm saying is, let's say
I'm just saying.
Right.
Yeah.
If it did
It
become
matters.
legal and whatever.
You don't want to tell your new wife, I smoke weed. No, I
Right.
don't smoke weed. I smoke this legal shit
Right.
for this reason.
Or it could be legal.
Because people get
right.
triggered by words.
Well, right. Or maybe during that time.
I don't know. They get triggered by
okay.
words.
So,
By the
or
way,
maybe.
You got some dry skin.
Or maybe,
I'm just saying, itch a little bit.
I get it after I shower too.
Right,
Yeah, I know.
Right. Oh,
It happens all the time. It's just like
I was just saying, it's scratches.
no point in
Oh,
messing
yeah,
with it.
a little better.
But
No point. There's no point.
yeah, there's no point messing with it. But anyway, so when I would tell my wife, like, hey, look, this is why I do this. This is why I do this. This is not changing. This is what worked for me. But like, I wouldn't use it in a way to where it would affect our relationship or the relationship with my children, if that makes sense. So like, I wouldn't be that person like, yeah, I need it for this, but now I'm going to use that as an excuse.
So I was worried about that with originally, and I think Francesca knows this. I'm gonna switch pants while we sit down. Let's see if I can do that. We're going from Batman to jeans because we're going out soon, and I'm not. As much as I'd love to keep Batman, there's no pockets. Initially, I was a little nervous. It's the first boyfriend. Ever since I've known her, she's always come up to me like with, oh, my boyfriend this, my boyfriend that. Like, what do I do about this? What do I do? Finally, she has a boyfriend that I love him. He's very intelligent, he loves her. I love that you're like kind of indirectly looking away while I'm changing my pants. It's all right, man. You've seen it all before. I think you've seen it all before, if I'm correct. But not on me. I mean, in general,
Yeah.
on me too, maybe. But like, yeah, in general, you are bisexual, so I imagine you've seen plenty of everything. But oh yeah, pants. There we go. What was I gonna say? It's the first time I realized, okay, this dude fucking loves her, and he's a good boyfriend, but he does smoke a shit ton of weed. Here comes the on-camera part. There we go. How do you like that? Little teaser. Hey, they got your belly. Oop, they just got a little bit of my belly.
Oop.
Yeah, and they got me putting my pants on. All right, so but I was worried about the weed thing, and I don't know. I just realized like he kind of just. If you switch the words around, I'm dead serious. He's not a pothead.
Yeah.
He still smokes weed and a lot of it, but for the same reasons you and I do.
Okay.
And he loves getting high, which I believe, I think we can both say, is a wonderful side effect.
It's a wonderful side effect, but I don't see it as that.
That is not. Sometimes I do it for that reason, absolutely, no doubt. If I'm like, it's kind of like why people drink. It's like, dude, I'm chilling, let's get high.
It's kind of like on my birthday,
But,
I went crazy with it, and then it's like after that, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a time and a place for it, really. I mean, but I'm just happy, like, I can't remember what my real point was, but, like, as far as, what the hell were you talking about? We were talking about weed. And then I brought him up. You
were talking about.
Why did I bring him up? You said something.
Francesca's girl or boyfriend.
She's.
You were just saying how he smokes a lot of weed, but he does it for the same reasons we do.
Yeah, I guess that's really it. Like, I guess I was worried because she was worried too. Like, there's a big like clash. Like, okay, well, I do want to move in with him. I think we're ready to do this. Because it was new to her, and she was asking me shit, and I was like, Francesca.
Really, you need, I mean, it depends on how long she's known him, but you really need, like, at least a couple years with someone.
Oh, no, they're fine.
Okay.
I think it's around 3 years.
Okay. Yeah, usually.
I know it's over a year, I can tell you that.
Around 3 years, that's when the girl starts, like, questioning, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, and that's when I had my thing, whatever. We're not getting into that. But anyway, no, but what I liked about it was, like, because she was scared about it. I was worried about it now too. I was like, fuck. I mean, is he a stoner? Is he a pothead? Is he only? Because he made stipulations like, oh, I need a smoke room. But now that they've moved in and everything's settled, everything's working perfectly. Like, but I'm just thinking, like, dude, I wonder, because he isn't a pothead. I wonder how his life would be like, because Francesca cannot smell like weed. She cannot have it in her blood.
Right.
Because of her job.
Right.
Like, she's a flight attendant. I won't say which, but yeah. So that was what. Of course, it would be nervous. Like you know, this is my life. This is where I live. But it just whatever. It all turned out perfectly. I just wonder what it would be like if. I think she said he doesn't like it. He just doesn't like it. I think that's what she said.
So he's putting up with it, but he's just like
he wants.
He really.
But he does really like to get high, though. I think he mostly does it to get high. But who cares?
Right.
He's a very intelligent person. He's
my
supposed to be with us here shortly with the weed podcast.
My thing is like, you know, if you use it to get high, great, that's your thing. But just don't let it affect your life.
Your life.
Yeah.
That's true with everything.
Well, right.
Yeah. No. It's not like, well, right, like, Anthony, I'm sorry, I was just saying it. It's like, no, you're right.
Yeah.
It is just that simple.
Right. It's with alcohol. Yeah, it's with everything.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you could be a functional cokehead.
Dude, I did meth one time.
Well, you know, you could be a cokehead, and then, you know.
I mean, that eventually, dude. If that's
it's
dangerous thinking, my friend.
Is like, you know, you could use some people.
Hypothetically, yes. If I did coke like once a week, would I die sooner than later? Yes, but would I die right away?
Because there were those people who would just do it recreationally.
Yeah,
and then they just wouldn't do it. Yeah, they just find ways not to.
What did they call it? Was it a president? I can't remember. But basically, it's like I have money, let's do coke drug.
Oh yeah, it's like no, you don't need to do that.
Dude, that's the funny thing. I really think, and I'm sticking to this. I really should do some research, but I'm sticking to this for now. I think my ADHD kind of gave my brain a shield from stimulant drugs.
Yeah.
Cocaine, meth.
Because it just makes you tired for you.
It makes me focused.
Right, but then
I'm kind of just there.
I mean, it's the same thing with the.
Not tired. I can't sleep.
It's this right, but it's the same thing with like the ADHD drugs. It speeds you up.
Yes.
But with those dudes, they speed you up.
Just like that.
Yeah, they'll speed you up to where you feel normal.
More intense, but
right. But then you're just tired, really.
See, I never got the tired, but well,
I'm saying that's what it's supposed to do because they're like, oh, well, they're already like, we're gonna give them this, and even though they're hectic
well,
right
if that's
now,
what they thought was gonna happen, I'll tell you this. What I got was okay. Now you're calm and hyper focused. See, and the fun thing was they're like this drug will make you focused, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're focused on the correct thing.
Right. Yeah.
So I'd start drawing in class and be like, yeah, I'm focused. Fuck yeah. And all those things I showed you, my album of Facebook, all the shit I drew, I was doing that while I'm focused.
Yeah. So you're just not focused.
I'm not focused on what they want me to be focused on. I'm just focused.
Right.
I'm definitely focused.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but the tired thing, I never got the tired thing.
I guess
I don't know.
Not really tired, but calming you down. Like
so how about this? What if you actually don't have ADHD? Because ADHD, to me, it just feels like I've never been tired. I'm always, my sleep schedule.
I'm always tired, but
I'm always awake.
Right.
So what if you don't actually, because I've never sparked you. My mom said it too. The way that you conduct a conversation, the way that you do the podcast, I would never in my life think ADHD. So if they were giving you those pills?
No, I'm just saying that's what it's supposed to do.
Not according to someone who has ADHD.
I've tried Adderall before. I tried it once.
Which you got what effect? I mean, I don't know what effect.
I was focused, but the dose that I took, I was like, it was. I'll put it to you this way.
Intense.
Yeah, never.
Like cocaine. You probably experienced what felt like cocaine.
I used it to write my paper.
Like that. Wait, can I just?
Yeah.
Visually, was it like this?
Pretty much.
Yep.
I wrote my paper in less than an hour.
Without words, like that's how you felt.
I wrote my paper in less than an hour.
Yeah,
and still had 11 hours.
Speed.
Yeah, 11 hours to go with this, and I ended up staying up all night long.
No sleep.
Awake, yeah, no sleep.
Yep.
Awake during the day during school, and then I crashed the exact same time I took it the next afternoon, because I took it in the afternoon because that's when I had time to write my paper, and yeah, no.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I said, I got addicted to WoW, and I used those pills to stay up for 7 days straight. 6 days straight, sorry. I can't remember. You know, it's like 6 days, 7 nights, 7 nights, 6 days.
Literally, it was just, I was joking about not writing my paper, and then my friend who happened to have ADHD was like, here, I got this.
And there it begins.
Yeah.
Biggest drugs sold in college and high school campuses are amphetamines, dude, and it's skyrocketing.
It was high school senior year. I was already lazy, you know. You're just like, it's senior year.
Yeah, senior. Yeah. What is it?
It's called like senioritis.
Senioritis.
Yeah.
Senioritis. Like, who gives a fuck?
Right. So I was like, well, I need to write this paper, and so I love how when my teacher handed me the paper back, she goes, great content, but I could tell you wrote this on something. But she still gave me a decent grade on it and did.
She called you out.
Yeah. But nothing.
You would never see that in California, I'll tell you that.
Nothing.
Maybe, even if you're high, they're too scared to touch that.
It wasn't to the point to where it affected my school or she was going to say anything.
No, it's funny. It's definitely funny.
It was just like,
I've never heard of it.
Like, she never confirmed it, but she's like, I could tell it's something. But she's like, it was good though, so here's.
Because think about it. I was going to school drunk, and no one said a goddamn thing.
Oh, well, that's.
No, and even high. No one.
Well, no, in my school they would.
But I'm saying, in California, in high school, college, when I was doing drugs and shit, no one said it. In California, and I say California not because I think California is different. I'm saying clearly there is a difference.
Right.
Because in my 30 plus years of life, no one fucking questioned it.
Right.
So you're saying here, what happened?
Like I said, nothing negatively affected
Nothing
me.
negative, but they were like, hey, we're going to tell you that we know.
Right. And I was all I said was, okay.
I should walk by you with this fart, by the way. I kind of owe you one. I'll save it for later. Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, and that was it.
Interesting.
I didn't get a bad grade on it.
No, I mean, it's fine. She was chill. She was like, fuck it. This is a kid. He's whatever.
He's a senior. I could get it. He didn't want to write it, so whatever.
Well, you did write it.
Yeah.
Hey, cool. You know, I really can't wait to go. It's a strange concept in the head. Because let me ask you this. Could you imagine, we're going out. Can you imagine yourself going back to school? Would you enjoy going back? Right now, in your current mindset? The answer is probably no, because you have so much shit going on.
Actually, interesting enough, we had this conversation with my dad, or I had this conversation with my dad last night. And he was telling me, go back to school and take this one last class just so you could have an associate's. And I was like, well, that makes sense, but I'm still questioning my major, because my major was personal training when I went. And so I was like, well, I'm thinking about going back and taking it, but I don't know if I even want to do personal training just because of how my body is, how...
So the one class that you would need for your associates is for personal training?
Yeah.
Oh, and you're like, but you don't want to really,
right.
You're not sure if you even want to do that.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
And so, he was like, well, I told you I'd pay for the class, and I was like, well...
That's great, but yeah.
I don't want to. I told him, I was like, I don't want to get an associate's degree in something that I'm not going to use.
Fair.
I mean, yeah, I'm already paying on what I owe, and yes,
your mindset makes perfect sense.
Right.
You're not going to do it. You don't want to do it.
Right. I mean, I'd go back to school for something else.
So yeah.
But then he was just saying, but if you just have an associate's degree and don't use it, you can apply for.
He's right. So that's what I'm thinking is like, okay, one class, if he's paying for it, take it. You do get an associate's. And he is right. We still are under the mindset of if you have letters and degrees, you are better than certain other people.
Right.
So he's not wrong, and it is just one course.
But at the same time, I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I've been thinking about it lately, but then it's like I can't really do it right now because
no, not right now. I would not suggest it.
Right, I'm moving out.
I know your life. Yeah.
I'm still at this new job technically.
Yeah.
I'm really not done with work work probation until February.
Oh, that's,
But like I'm still trucking along with this job, but at the same time, it's like I can't, it's just not the right time right now. It's like, yeah, I've been putting it off for several years, but it's just.
Well, I'm excited. I'll tell you what. I've never been excited. I hated school. I don't know. I had that young person mindset where, that's the funny thing. I don't know the why behind it. Like, really, when you think about it, I guess you're not thinking about how important learning is. You're thinking about, like, what do I want to do right now? I want to have sex. I want to, really, like.
I don't want to be at school.
I don't want to be at school. I want to have fun. Like,
right.
I have no idea what the hell's going on. But I'll tell you what, man. Like, and seriously, even a year ago, if you asked me, would you want to go back to school? I'd say no, not even a little bit.
Right.
But now it's like, why would you not? I mean, no matter how you pay for it, why would you not want to learn, especially if it's about something you care about?
Right. But the thing is, I haven't really found that.
That's okay. I'm 30. I'm about 35, and I just now figured it out.
I'm saying the closest thing I came to was personal training, because
and you were almost there, and your body kind of failed you.
Right. I mean, I could do certain things to strengthen those areas, but it's like
And you could always be a personal trainer. Remember we talked about that? I was like, how would you do that if you can't? And you're like, well, you don't really need to do it with them. You just guide them.
Well, no, you do kind of have. You don't have to like show them, hey, I can bench press and squat.
Here's how you do it.
Here's how you do it with
you
a
could
lower
do
weight.
That,
I mean,
right?
I could, but it's just.
Do you want to do it?
Right, and I researched more into the background of like money, how much money you'd make. Some really good ones, they make good money. But
for like celebrities and shit, doctors.
But even just starting out, you might have to work for 2 different gyms and have 2 different jobs, and then, have to, or maybe just have a second job entirely. Like you personal train for a little bit, but you're not that successful, so now you have to like work at Kroger too to support yourself.
By the way, Kroger's like, I don't know, Safeway in California. You said your dad drove for Safeway. They must have Safeways.
My stepdad did.
Stepdad.
Yeah.
All right, you know what? Wrap it up. Go ahead and say whatever you want to say, but I think we should thought bubble our asses out of this house. How's that
we're
sound?
gonna thought bubble our asses out of here.
Yeah. What was it? See, I think we've kind of lost touch with our. We got to smash it till we bash it. Then we're gonna grab it and slash it.
You just messed it up. There's no point. There's no point.
You're just gonna give up like that? You can correct me.
It's smash it till you relax it.
Smash it. That's right. Smash it till you relax it. All right, fine, man. I'm sorry. Thank you for remembering. All right, guys. So Thought Bubble Podcast with us at gmail.com. Phone number is 925-305-6252. Even though I get some weird shit on my phone, I'm starting to now realize it's for this. I wasn't catching on to that before because it's starting to come in more. But anyway, we're going to go out and I have no idea. Signing off? Oh.
Signing off.
Who are you?
This is the producer/promoter and Anthony.
You have no enthusiasm. This is the motherfucking promoting producer and Anthony.
Yeah, and just Anthony.
Just Anthony.